This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com. This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Supper time's a crunch. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Marianne to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza.
I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork in their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, my name is Marshall Kanam. I'm the manager of the UPS Store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS Store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS Store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by ProStyleProduction.com. It's time for Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Comes down low to the near side. Bennett walks out with it. Bennett centering. Feed fires Easton. Bennett scores. It's 4-1 Magi on the twisted wrister from Easton Bennett.
The growing tradition of Magi hockey carries on today.
He scores. And it's a hat trick for Hayden Schwartz. Projectile play. Mason Morelli with the backhand. Puts it past the netminder. Here's Martell. Drive scores. Martell. Hughes. And the Magi are on the board with a power play.
with one goal in mind.
One back to the ninth. Minot High is winning the state title. They have won the state championship.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by IMM, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, Souris Valley Dental, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Thrifty White Drug, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, Buffalo Wild Wings, Pimento Orthodontics, Bremer Bank, Minot Hockey Boosters, the UPS Store, Planet Pizza, First International Bank and Trust, Tecta America Dakotas, Elevation, First Western Bank and Trust, and Pro Style Production DJ Services.
The point, Hyde sends it down. Bennett, top shelf backhand, right where Grandma keeps the cookies, and it's 5-1. Out of Gretzky's office, Bennett feeds Hyde at the line, near side. Hyde tunes it in, tipped in front. Vile tucks it home, and it's 5-1. It's handling, whistling, firing into the glove. No, he scored. It's 2-0. And tattoos at home, and the Magicians lead.
It's time for the Minot High Magician Hockey Planet Pizza pregame show. Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location, has been serving the Magic City for over 20 years. Call and order now at 701-852-1700.
Colby Ends will start the rush. Ends has a big hit at center ice. Welcome to senior night. Plenty of noise. Easton Bennett absolutely lights up Ruley. There's the hit of the game, maybe of the week.
Now, let's go to the ice with the voice of the Magi. Here's Nick Hulberg.
A doubleheader week to start the 2018-2019 campaign for the Minot High Magicians boys high school hockey team. Tonight, the task doesn't get any easier as the Devils, like Firebirds, come into Pepsi Rink here at the Mesa Arena for third game of the season in this old school East First West showdown here tonight. Good evening and welcome into the Planet Pizza pregame show. Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location for school parties, team parties, birthday parties, and so much more. They truly are out of this world. Planet Pizza can be reached for free delivery tonight at 701-852-1700. I highly recommend the Blue Buffalo Pizza. That stuff really is out of this world. I'm Nick Hulberg alongside the legend himself, the Nodak Speedway Hall of Fame announcer, Mr. Larry McFall. Larry, always good to see you, especially on a Thursday night here at Pepsi Rink. Let's go back to Tuesday night and talk about a Mandan matchup that the Magicians found themselves on the losing side of a 3-2 contest, but overall, in your mind, your thoughts on that hockey game Tuesday night? There's a lot more to be happy about than a 3-2 loss in the scoreboard that indicated a loss at the end of it. There were some positives to take away, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we were a little concerned about the defense going in with all the sophomores on the blue line, but they turned in a pretty good game. And the forwards, we've got some grinders. Those first couple lines looked really good for the Magicians. They outshot the Mandan Braves considerably, almost by a 2-1, 3-1 margin, I think. But Mandan got some bounces, got some breaks on some pretty easy goals, and they used their very minimum shot total to their advantage and pulled out the victory here. But yeah, Minot, you always go into that first game, you're not quite sure how things are going to go and what you've got presented out on the ice, but yeah, I think it was actually a pretty good game for the Magicians. Everybody wants to win, but this is a long marathon all the way to February. So if you're a Magician fan, don't sell your season tickets yet, so to speak.
Yeah, good call. I think this is a Minot High team that's going to have a lot of promise. And I was talking to John Grubb earlier on tonight, the co-head coach of the Magi, and one of the things that I really enjoyed, one of the reasons I really enjoy talking with Coach Grubb is he's just such a great hockey mind. Anybody that doesn't know John Grubb know that he played back in 1998 for the Magicians. He's arguably the best player to ever play at Minot High School. He put up a massive number of points, top 3 all-time in scoring. He went on to the United States Hockey League, the quote-unquote USHL, and then he went on to a D1 career as well. John Grubb's a player that has a great hockey mind and a great hockey knowledge. Our conversation earlier on tonight
I kind of had a smile on my face and said, it just kind of takes you back a few years to the Quinn Fuchs era. I know I bring that time up, but that era really was for Minot High in 2013, 2014, 2015, kind of the start of a new chapter of Minot High Magicians hockey where they're into the TV round. They're a team that's to be contended with at the North Dakota State High School Hockey Tournament. And with talking with Coach Grubb tonight, I had a smile on my face and said it's almost a breath of fresh air. Maybe it's not this year, but the future is very bright for Minot High Magicians hockey. And he smiled and he said it sure is. And I think kind of goes back to what you're saying, that there's a long season ahead of us and the future is definitely bright for the Magi.
And it always goes back to thanks, James. It always goes back to, I lost my train of thought when James came walking on in, but you always have to rebuild at some stage when you lose a ton of seniors, and then sometimes you don't. Devils Lake only lost 6 players from last year's roster, but 4 of them, the top 4, Reslock, Peterson, and Bushi and Loven, had 35 goals, 54 assists. They lost 89 points of point production, even though they've lost 6. But they had a goalie that played every single game. Reagan Ruley played every game last year, so they're solid in the net, and they've got 13 returners on that squad. So Devils Lake didn't lose much, so they've already rebuilt their squad. Minot was in the thick of rebuilding after those years you talked about. And it always goes back to the youth program. And right now, the Minot Hockey Booster program, Nick, is very, very strong. And based on that, as they come on up, it should be a pretty good feeder program for the Magicians for years to come.
Well, you touched on this matchup tonight with Devils Lake and Minot High. Devils Lake's a team that has kind of shuffled back and forth from the east to the west, back to the East region now of North Dakota High School hockey, along with Jamestown. The swap now where Devils Lake is in Eastern School. Jamestown's now on the west side. Well, if you look at the state map of North Dakota, those two towns are basically on top of each other. It's Devils Lake that's over in the EDC. It's Jamestown that's now in the West region. But this is a rivalry that dates back to very old school times, and you can touch on that, being involved with Magi hockey since the start of it 44 years ago. Devils Lake's always been a team that puts up a pretty darn good fight when they take on the Magi.
Devils Lake was actually the first East region team that even wanted to play Minot High back in the day, in the 70s. We couldn't get games with the East. Nobody wanted to play us. It was a waste of time. They know they'd kill us, and they did. And Devils Lake was one of those teams that said, we'll play you. And so it's not only a rivalry for so many years, but there's still some respect there from the real old Alec Broughton, the net movers, trying to break the 13-second mark in switching nets here, by the way. That's why he's got a hard hat on here now, and he's trying to sprint down to the other end, but obviously he's made too many mistakes. He's not going to make it down there in 13 seconds. But there's a respect from us older players for Devils Lake saying, hey, thanks for playing us. We were playing Carmen, Manitoba, Boissevain, just trying to play anybody to fill out our schedule. And Devils Lake was one of the first teams that said, hey, come on. But, yeah, the rivalry, boy, they've bounced back and forth east to west so much. I just don't know where that's headed. Why they keep doing that to that poor team. But they were one of the first that did play the Magicians. This is also their third straight game against the West. They don't have many games left. They have to play 2 games against each Eastern team. They beat Botno 5-0. They beat Jamestown 4-3. And now here in Minot High, they're starting with all West schedule, Devils Lake is. So be interesting to see how they graduate into that Eastern play. It's very tough for them to make the state tournament every year, Devils Lake, because they're in that West, man. Basically, the 4th spot is open in the East, and they always try to be one of those teams to get there. They lost their qualifying game last year to Grand Forks Red River 4-0 after upending West Fargo Cheyenne. So Devils Lake's been around a long time. Like you said, it's a big rivalry, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes tonight.
Should be fun. We're going to dive a little bit further into this matchup when we come back to the Planet Pizza pregame show. Once again, Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location. They do deliver for free. 701-852-1700. Call and order now. We'll look at the numbers when we return. It's the Firebirds at 2-0 taking on the Magi at 0-1. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knop. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com.
Systems go for lunch. Frequent supper times a crunch. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. Tony and Marianne to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza. Planet Pizza.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com. One likes reading history novels. The other likes dressing up like the cat from Kiss. They're the voices of Magi Hockey. Let's get back to the press box with Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Well, a pair of head coaches going toe-to-toe tonight in their fifth seasons, leading both benches. It's Jen Stokey in his fifth season for the Devils Lake Firebirds, taking on the home team tonight. The Minot High Magicians, led by Jason Bennett and John Grubb, who are also in their fifth year as head coaches for the Minot High Magicians. It's an East-West showdown tonight here from the Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena in Minot, North Dakota. Nick Hulberg alongside of Larry McFall for the Planet Pizza pregame show. Did you know Planet Pizza has a lunch buffet that truly is out of this world? They've got the cheesy breadsticks, they've got the specialty pizzas, they've got the traditional good ones out there as well. Cheese, pepperoni, you name them. It doesn't matter. Any kind of Planet Pizza is delicious. They bring you the pregame show tonight. They do deliver for free if you're hungry now. 701-852-1700. And don't forget about that lunch buffet tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. Minot High falls on Tuesday to Mandan 3-2. Now they welcome in the Devils Lake Firebirds, a team that in the preseason polls, Larry, was predicted to be the number 10 team across the state statewide. Minot High was predicted to be number 6. Knowing that Devils Lake already has 2 wins inside of North Dakota high school hockey, they come from West Region opponents Bottineau and Jamestown. What do you expect out of the Firebirds here tonight? A team that usually plays a pretty gritty style of hockey.
Yeah, they've always been very, very competitive and usually pretty well coached all through the years of Al Henry. David Duckworth was involved for a few years. Then, of course, monitor David Zimmerman had the helm for a while. I see that one of the former coaches, Darren Moser, has a kid in the lineup here tonight as well. Aiden Moser, I believe, is the son of one of the other former coaches. But they play a very physical style. They always have. And just because they're always in the middle of the pack in the East region doesn't mean that they're not good. I mean, there'd be a lot of teams out west that would be in the middle of the pack if they'd be in the East region. So you got to look out for Devils Lake. They look for mistakes. They can be a very, very good hockey team if they play well and they don't make a lot of errors in their own zone. So be interesting to see how this new addition Firebird team looks.
Well, the Firebirds have one ace in the hole, that's for sure, and it's Regan Rulli, the goaltender that's a senior. He played every game last year for the Firebirds, and in that campaign as a junior for Rulli, he was a guy that really on the east side of the state was known as one of the best over there in the EDC, sitting on a 3.12 goals against average and a 91% save percentage. He went 10-13-1 in his junior campaign, but again, he played in every game, 25 games to be exact, over on the eastern side of North Dakota's high school hockey schedule. And Rulli's a guy that comes into tonight's game with some very impressive numbers, a 1.5 goals against average and a 9.29 save percentage. He's 2-0 on the year. He's only given up 3 goals so far in his young season, his senior campaign, but he's seen 42 shots on net. Tonight, he's going to go against a goaltender for the Magi that gets his first call as a varsity goaltender, and that's Trey Sortland, a sophomore net keeper that comes in to see his first varsity start tonight, and a kid that's got a lot of hype around him tonight. So it's one that's got absolutely no experience at all at the varsity ranks, and another that has been around the block. What do you expect in this goaltender matchup here tonight?
Well, I know he's going to be a little bit nervous, Sortland is. I mean, he's coming off an outstanding Bantam A career, but boy, when you come out here in the lights and the fans, and he's going to be a little bit nervous, so the defense is going to have to make sure that they help him out. They're going to have to cover rebounds, clear the slot, and try to help this guy out. But he was playing good last year, and from what I heard around the rink and from what I've seen as the ice operations director here, I get a chance to watch a lot of the practices, and he has been playing really well. And they decided to go with the switch a little bit. Odin Nelson didn't have one of his better games on Tuesday night. So at this early stage of the year, the coaches have decided, instead of having Sortland play in a road game somewhere as the visiting team and uncomfortable in the new rink, why not give him a shot at home? And so he is in the lineup tonight, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully he'll have a good game. And if he doesn't, Odin Nelson is always there to come on in. So it'll be exciting to watch, as you said, the experienced veteran for the Firebirds against the youngster for Minot High. We'll see what happens in this one.
Well, Devils Lake up front is led by a player by the name of Blair Martinson. He wears number 19. He's a senior, having a good campaign so far here in his senior season, Larry. 5 points for him in 2 games. That comes to the tune of 2 goals, 3 assists. 4 points for Carter Schwab, the sophomore. 4 points for the junior, Aaron Johnson. Hunter Swanson, the senior, has 3 points. That's where Devils Lake gets the majority of their scoring. Keep in mind, we're only 2 games into the year. For the Magi, they're only 1 game into the season. They're led in points by Peyton Philly and the 1 assist from him on Tuesday night. Jack Plemmel had an assist. Aiden Morelli got his first goal as a varsity player. And Ben Bonebrake, the sophomore D-man, got a goal as well. So a pair of sophomores scoring on Tuesday night for the Magi. We're going to hear from John Grubb next to the coach's corner. Pretty neat that a Philly sets up a Morelli for Minot High Magicians hockey. You'll hear that interview next on the Planet Pizza pregame show. We're just about 6 minutes away from our national anthem tonight inside of the Pepsi Rink. East versus West showdown tonight. The old school rivalry. It's Devils Lake at Minot High. This is Minot High Magicians hockey.
when supper time's a crunch. T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Elliot to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza.
It's time for the Planet Pizza pregame Coach's Corner. Get your game plan for laser tag in the largest laser tag playground in the region. Did we mention the cheesy, delicious, mouth-watering first bite of a Planet Pizza pizza? Now, here's the matchup's insight with the Planet Pizza Coach's Corner.
To the Planet Pizza pregame show. It's time now for Coach's Corner with Minot High co-head coach Mr. John Grubb. First of all, Coach, welcome back to the pregame show. Welcome back to the rink. I didn't get a chance to talk to you on Tuesday night. We had Jason Bennett up here. How was your off season?
Oh, it was excellent. Had a good summer with the kids and family, and it's exciting that it's hockey season again. We're kind of back in the swing of things, so a lot of things to be pumped up for this year.
How were the fish biting over the summer? Were they hot or not?
Yeah, fishing's excellent. The big lakes sure going, and we got a lot of time in the fall too, and that's great times that you don't want to miss out on.
I was talking the other night on Tuesday how it's just so special, something about Minot High hockey when Loyal and True, the school song, comes on and the team runs out of that paper for the first time. Do you still get the same goosebumps you did as a kid and when you played for the Magi as a coach for Minot High?
Oh, for sure. It's exciting. And it's there's times where the season gets long or the off season's long, but once you get going and get into game time, your week-to-week schedule, it's exciting, and you remember why you do it when those nights come.
Exciting is a good word to use when talking about this young hockey team from Minot High, even though you guys suffered a loss on Tuesday, which we'll talk about in a second. How bright do you think the future of Magi hockey is? Boy, it sure seems like you got a lot of hardworking kids on this club.
They are. They're rink rats, and that's the exciting part about it. Kids, they want to be in the locker room, they want to be around the rink, and they work incredibly hard, and on top of that, they have some talent. So you get a group like that and you stack another group onto it and it keeps rolling. That's how you improve your program. And hats off to our youth program. They've done an excellent job with these kids, and we have a lot of young guys that have stepped in ready to play, and we're going to take our bumps with them at times, but I think by the end of the year there can be a real good progression with them.
3-2 is the final score on Tuesday night. You guys suffer your first loss to Mandan since the 2015 campaign, and by the way, that's the year we won the state title after the opening loss to Mandan. Your analysis of that hockey game, what's your biggest takeaway from Tuesday night?
Oh, we looked kind of like a team to start. The first period was a team that didn't look like they had played a hockey game all year, and we played a team that had already played, and we just I think we had a lot of nerves, and it was just a little disorganized in the beginning, but there are a few unfortunate bounces, and we're behind, but the kids sure battled back. I thought third period our response was good. They worked incredibly hard, and they kind of answered the bell a little bit, so hopefully we can stack a good first period on top of kind of where we finished off the other night.
A couple questions on player personnel. My big question mark was the back end for you guys coming into the year. Man, a kid like Riley Opperud back there quarterbacking the power play, and Bonebrake getting his first goal. Defense doesn't really seem to be much of a concern after night number one, or what's your thought on that?
Yeah, they're going to struggle just because they're so young, but they compete incredibly hard, and that's about all we can ask from them. And like Riley's a really offensive kid, and I think as you see his season go on, you're going to see him to start to have some numbers too. But it's just they have a care to defend, and as defensemen, that's job number one. And so I think that group's only going to get better too. Also, as the year goes by, and hopefully it becomes something that's got some experience on it at the end of the year.
I had a goal call of Aiden Morelli from Peyton Fillion, and in the play-by-play I said two of the most storied names in Minot High hockey history. When you think about Morelli and Fillion, Tom Fillion, Mason Morelli, Matt Morelli, goes down the list. But for you now with Minot High hockey as a whole, Coach, when you look at some of these names coming back through the program, it's almost got to be a sigh of relief knowing that we're kind of at that generation now where the east side of the state's been living with this for quite a while, where the kids of the greats are starting to come through the program.
It is, and this is kind of the start to it. We've had a few kids in the few years past, but now it's kind of the big push of kids starting to come through, and you see it all the way down to the mite and squirt level too. And it's they're kids that have grown up around the rink and they want to be at the rink, and it's cool to see, and that's part of the tradition.
You got a little guy of your own. How long until he suits up for Minot High?
Yeah, who knows? But he loves the game, and hopefully someday he can.
For you, John, tonight's matchup against this Devils Lake team, it's a team that we've created quite the rivalry with over the last 5 or 6 years. Usually a trip over there to Burdick Arena or here at the Mesa Arena. What do you expect out of the Firebirds tonight in this East vs. West showdown?
Coach Stokey has them working hard every year we play them. That's why it's a great non-conference game for them. Doesn't matter if they have 10 seniors on their roster or they're young like we are. They compete incredibly hard and they're physical. And, they always have kids that can skate. And, of course, they always have good goaltending in Devils Lake, which they do once again this year. And so, it's about the perfect game for us right now in our season. And, expecting kind of a fast physical game tonight.
Best of luck tonight. Always great talking to you. Nice seeing you again.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
That's John Grubb, co-head coach of the Minot High Magicians. When we come back to the Planet Pizza pregame show, we'll face it off. It's the Firebirds of Magi. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
When supper time's up front, T-minus now, it's time for Planet Pizza. With lots of space for fun, there's room for everyone. From me and Ariel to Planet Pizza. Space for Planet Pizza.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
God bless our servicemen and women. God bless our veterans. God bless America. It's hockey night in North Dakota, and it's the high school sorts where the Magi host the Firebirds from Devils Lake. That puts a cap on the Planet Pizza pregame show. Huge thanks again to Planet Pizza, the area's ultimate party location. They can be reached for delivery this entire broadcast and the entire game tonight, 701-852-1700. The Firebirds are in town in all red tonight with black helmets, pants, and gloves. They've got 2 white and 1 red stripe on the black pants. It says Firebirds diagonally across the chest from the top right corner down to the bottom left. Minot Highs in their home whites with maroon helmets, pants, and gloves. The white uniforms with the big M across the chest. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall here for the call. Larry, showtime, final thoughts as we put a cap on the Planet Pizza pregame show.
Well, I definitely think tonight, the way things went on Tuesday night, Minot High really needs to make sure, and this sounds like a broken record, but I really think the first goal would be very, very huge. And a little less, they did a pretty good job of staying out of the box. Everybody has to look out for that new boarding call that's now an automatic 5-minute. There is no more referee discretion, 2 or 5. That happened 4 times the other night, 2 on each team. Stay away from the penalty box, score the first goal, put some pressure on this a well-seasoned goaltender down there for the Firebirds and see what happens.
Minot High will travel from the right to the left for periods 1 and 3. Left to the right for the Firebirds. Starting off here the first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nick. We just want to wish a happy birthday to Morgan Martell, assistant coach on the JV team. Big 24th birthday today. Happy birthday, Morgan.
Happy birthday. One of the best to ever come through the Magi program. He played for the Beavers as well. Starting unit tonight for the Magi, they've got Ben Bonebrake on the back end with Riley Oprud, a pair of sophomores back there. It's Stenberg up front with Aiden Morelli and Peyton Philly, and the Firebirds went with Aiden Moser, Jeremiah Hill on the back end. Martinson, Johnson, and Devey are up front with Regan Rulli in goal. We're underway 30 seconds into the opening frame tonight with the Magi having control of the puck in the offensive zone on the blocker's side of Rulli. Puck is pushed out to center ice, and here come the Firebirds with Blair Martinson. He walks over center, and it's Kyler Stenberg that takes the puck from him and starts the rush right back in. Stenberg whistled one in from outside the blue line into the butterfly. Rulli made the stop, and here come the Firebirds back out to center with it as Martinson pushes it ahead, but it's taken by Plevel. An no-look backhand pass connects with Hertz. He bumps it off the wall in the near wing out to center ice and into the offensive zone. It's fired in from Deal. Rulli gobbles it, hangs tight to it, will face it off on his blocker side.
There seems to be more pep in the step on the Magicians tonight. They're moving around down there. You have to be the first one to get to the loose pucks. They weren't the other night, and already good. They've got the defense just shooting it in on net. You never know what's going to happen. And the Magi have already shot 2 in from the blue line all the way into the net to test the goaltender early.
Here's Hertz, sends it in. Now Deal, center slot. True defeated in front of drive. All Rulli commits robbery. He was down on the pillows, and he reached back with the glove and the white. Vaughn catching mitt says, I don't think so. Nice save.
Yeah, that was. I thought the net was wide open there, and the only place to not shoot it was where the Magician shooter put it. And Rulli the save.
Rulli wears the all-white Vaughn pads. Another drive on goal. He's forced to make save number 4. That one with a catching mitt, but he couldn't wrangle it. He's got a white goal mask as well. He wears the A on his jersey, representing that he's one of the captains of the hockey team. The A stands for assistant captain. Back in behind the net. It's taken here and worked away by Sortland, the sophomore net keeper for the Magi that gets his first call as a varsity player tonight. Puck taken over center ice, and this one is dumped in by the Magi sophomore D-man Gabe Thongfed. Back up to center ice. The puck is taken here by the Firebirds. Nice move, fancy move into the zone, taken by Struby. Fires in. Sortland forced to make his first stop, and he puts the play to a close here with 15-12 to play in a scoreless first.
You know, like you said, if they haven't changed the rule, I don't know why the teams waste goaltenders as captains and alternate captains, because a goaltender cannot talk to the official, and that's what you want your captains for. So I don't know why they waste an A. Probably just a reward to him, you know, for his part on the team.
In with it for the Magi, walking and firing a high shot from Casey Feld. Went up to the shoulder of Rulli, the netminder that went down. He gobbled it up, and Minot High's putting the heat on early tonight. 5-1, the shots on goal. Just a few minutes into it, nobody's scored yet, but the Magi looking hungry tonight.
Yeah, that was a good save there coming on out of his crease. Rulli had all the angle blocked down on that.
Yeah, interesting call on wasting the A, quote-unquote, on a goaltender jersey.
I don't understand why they do that. They're throwing away one of the players that can actually talk to the officials.
Out to neutralize. The puck moved ahead forward by Jeremiah Hill. Into the offensive zone. Set up now on the right side of the radio dial underneath the goal line. Battling for the puck is Voller. It's freed here. Now it's Martinson back to the point. Here's Arister coming in. Loose in the slots. Puck is still loose. Tice moved it ahead forward. Now it's going to be retrieved here by the Magi. Their own DN by Voller. Here's Tanner Voller, the junior, off the glass behind the net. On the blocker's side, the puck lays of the goaltender Sortland for the Magi. We're at 14-14 to play in the opening period. Neither team on the board yet. Puck taken up to the far blue line, trying to clear the zone for the Magi, and doing so now is Derwin Hauser. He'll launch it all the way down. No icing on the play, and it's picked up by the Firebirds, who break out back to center. Johnson had his pocket pick. Filion's in all alone. Filion back door, sets it up to Stenberg. They score, and the Magi are on the board first. Peyton Filion to Kyler Stenberg. How do you do on a Thursday night? Magi up 1-0.
Filion took that puck control at the top of the slot, stole the puck, and went in alone, and he had support on his left. And Filion waited and made the pass. It was just a picture-perfect goal for the Magicians, and it comes at the 3:05 mark.
It's going to be Stenberg from Filion. We'll listen in to Duffy Novak in just a moment. Larry, you talked about how huge the first goal of the night is. And the Magi get it. Here's Duffy Novak with the call.
Goal at 3:05 in the first
Another drive coming in. Ruley without the stick. That one from the point. The stop was made. It's Stenberg from Fillion. That's how they call it. The drive comes in. Ruley makes the save. He'll gobble it up and will face it off on his glove side.
It couldn't have started any better for the Magicians. A lot of pressure on Ruley. They get an early goal, and more importantly, Sortland gets time to realize where he's at, relax a little bit down on that end. He has only been tested once. Just a perfect setup. They're keeping the puck away from the young goalie, and they're just barraging Ruley down here to our left.
With control of the puck, the Firebirds trying to clear their own zone. They do as it's moved ahead forward, this time by Zach Boren, and Boren brings it in, glove side of Sortland, puts one on net. Sortland into the butterfly. He'll hang tight to it. The faceoff will come on the sophomore net keeper's glove side.
And another good job by the defense of pushing the skater all the way to the boards. So that was a real tough angle shot there. And a nice save by Sortland outside of pouncing on the first one. That was his first good quality save.
Well, Kyler Stenberg broke the scoring just a few moments ago. Stenberg picking up his first goal of the season. Last year, Stenberg netted 11. Total of 22 points in his junior campaign. He also had 12 minutes to go along with 6 penalties on the season. Stenberg, one of the leaders of this hockey team, has the team up 1-0 early on tonight. Here's Hertz behind his own net, puts it up off the glass, and the bouncer comes up to the line where it's held in here and moved forward by Quinn Struby. Sends it in, blocker side of Sortland, and back on the retrieve to pick it up for the Magi is Thongfen. 2 Thongfens in the lineup for the Magi. This is game number 15. Moved up to center ice to Nick Murphy. Now across from Plemmel. He had a point on Tuesday night. He dumps it down into the zone. The offensive side of the ice for the Magi. Minot High went for a 5-for-5 change as the puck's carried in and sent behind the net from Devier. Blocker side of the goaltender Sortland. Devier's got it back. Sends it in front. Back up to the point. Getting a handle on it is Riley Rude. He moves it ahead forward, back into the Minot High defensive zone, deeper down in that territory, but the puck is controlled by the Magi and freed forward as ahead it comes for Casey Feld into the offensive zone. Down low, bottom of the circle, coast to coast, to drive a save, rebound loose in front, no one home, one-timer, Tice at the line, sends it in. Didn't get much of that one, and the stop is made for Bruley as the Magi continue to pressure. Centering feed, a drive, that one through the wickets of the 5-hole on the one-timer. Smash from Casey Feld. The sophomore put his arms in the air, but it was underneath the pads, and Ruley hangs tight.
Boy, Ruley made that one save in traffic. He came all the way out to the hash marks on the circle. He was way out of the net. Gambling early in the nets is Ruley. Face-off will be to his left. 11:43 remains in period 1. If you're just joining us, the Magicians lead it 1-0.
Nice to say that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Here come the Firebirds. They want to change that as Hunter Swanson's in with it. A drive, and the stop is made from Trey Sortland. He goes down into the butterfly and gobbles it up with the white and maroon CCM Goldman.
Of course, as announcers, we're supposed to kind of be unbiased. Probably shouldn't have worn my Magician Hockey established in 1974 sweatshirt with my name on the back. You know, I forgot to play the role as the neutral announcer tonight, Nick.
Anyone listening from Devil's Lake, we're happy you're joining us tonight. We sure like bringing you high school hockey in the western side of North Dakota. Just know that we've got 2 alumni up here in the booth for Minot High School. We'll give credit where credit's due. That's a promise. We pride ourselves on that, but we also pride ourselves on a little bit of passion up here in the booth as well. Handling down for the Firebirds back in his own territory. There's Jeremiah Hill. Trying to clear it out, top of the circle it comes. Puck moved away right underneath the Devil's Lake bench with a backhand. It's sent all the way down to Sortland's blocker side and on the retreat for the Magi. Picking it up and whistling it off the glass. That was Ben Bonebreak. He scored his first goal as a Magi varsity skater on Tuesday night. Wasn't quite enough. Minot High fell to Mandan 3-2. First time in conference play that the Magicians have lost to the Mandan Braves since 2015. Same year the Minot High won the state high school hockey championship. 10:30 to play in the first. Minot High up by a goal. It's 1-0. Courtesy of Kyler Stenberg as the Firebirds dump it in and go for a 4-for-5 change. And with real estate, it's Riley Opperud up the near side wing, getting it up to the neutral ice zone only momentarily for Hunter Cope before the Firebirds send it right back in.
The Firebirds are doing a great job of just Penn and the Magicians in their own zone on the blue line.
Clemmel frees it up to Deal. He'll make a fancy move. He's in with Kolb. Deal walks to the center slot, tried to fire. Delayed call coming, and we'll have our first power play of the night. And it will be for the Magi. By the way, Andy Carton and Eric Steele have the stripes on tonight. You've got Jake Stack out there with Kevin Wilk as the linesman. And to the sin bin.
Slashing is the call.
Will be number 10. That's Camden Schwab, a slash.
6:59, the time of that penalty, and the Magicians go on the power play.
Well, let's see what the Magi power play can do. They've got Casey Feld along with Fillion on the draw. At the point, you've got Bone Break back with Hertz. And the winger on the far side is Aiden Morelli. Got the first goal of the 2018-2019 campaign on Tuesday night. Wasn't that beautiful? Fillion to Morelli.
Absolutely. Those are names you like to hear in Minot High School hockey. And the second generation that was trickling in the last few years is now in full force. Of course, we have had a couple of third generations too, but now we're going to start getting all these players as kids that will be coming in the program.
Here's Fillion back behind the net. Fillion moves it back to the far side point. Hertz has it, turns it towards the net, rebound save, loose in front of the goal, turning it towards the net, and it's Morelli that tucks it home. The Magi lead 2-0. Aiden Morelli, he's got a knack for it in front of the net. He fires it home. And on the 12th shot of the night, the Magi strike for more blood, and guess who? Aiden Morelli.
Morelli picked it up there at the top of the slot, about the top of the circles, and just what we always say, just put it on the net. Sometimes a lot of teams are way too fancy trying to get that perfect shot. He just put it on the net, and the rebound came out, and a very nice shot for the Magicians as they take a 2-0 lead. We'll wait for the assist on that.
It's going to be a power play goal. I believe Fillion's going to be on it again. We'll listen in to Duffy Dolbeck, and here's Mr. Duffy. Puck in the Minot end, by the way. Hertz gets an assist on the play. Firebirds have the puck in Minot High territory. Save Sortland, the rebound, another save. Big pad save there from Trey Sortland. Kicking out the pillows, a pad save and a beauty. As he keeps it a 2-0 lead for the Magi as the puck comes back into Devil's Lake territory, back in their own end, where it's going to be gobbled up here by Aaron Johnson, and he starts the rush up through center with some real estate. Johnson coast to coast, fancy move, the stop from Sortland, but a delayed call coming as a tripping or a hook, making a slash.
Be a slash called by Eric Steele. That penalty comes at the 8:41 mark here, and Fillion. Nice start, 2 assists already for skater number 10 for the Magicians. Coming in the box now is number 19. That's Hunter Kolb.
Well, the first look at the Devils Lake power play tonight. They come to the ice, and the Minot High kill comes out with 8:19 to play in a 2-0 first period. Minot High has the 2 on the board. Face-off won by the Firebirds. It's at the near point. Slap shot, the heavy one there from Riley Rude. Right-handed shot into the butterfly at the top of the blue paint was Sortland, and he stops that one.
Songfett was there for the rebound, guarding the player in front, and that's what the Magicians are doing real good so far, keeping all those shots on the outside and helping out the young netminder.
Riley Root again, near side, top of the circle, right side of the radio dial. Waffle board save on the Martinson attempt. Hard wrist shot there from Blair Martinson, leading point getter for the Firebirds. That one went all the way down to the other end of the ice where Stenberg, shorthanded, wears the penalty clock down to a minute 30. 7:49 to play in the first. Minot High up by a pair. It's 2-0 if you're just joining us here tonight. Puck dumped in on Sortland's glove side. Goes to the blocker side where it's up to the point, trying to clear the zone for the Magi now as Deal with the help there of Stenberg. They can't quite clear the zone. Comes back to Thongfett. Now again, handling, here's the captain for the Magi. That's Stenberg. Moves it up, but it's played with a high stick by Martinson. The faceoff's going to come all the way back in Devils Lake territory. Minute 7 on the Devils Lake power play. They're down by 2 to the Magi with 7:26 to play in the first.
Stenberg was a little fortunate there. He wildly tried to dump that puck out of the zone, played with a high stick, or that might have turned into a Firebird scoring chance. 7:26 remaining in period number 1. The Magicians 2-0.
Filligan's in on the draw. He steps up against Carter Schwab, number 8 on the other side. Schwab second in points for the Firebirds coming in. He's got 4 points in 2 games for Devils Lake. We're down to 55 seconds remaining on the power play here for the Firebirds. Their first extra attacker opportunity of the night. Sent down into Minot High territory, right in front of the Zamboni door. It's taken by Opperud with a heavy slap shot. Tried to clear the zone, couldn't. Knocked down, and we'll have a hand pass called on the Firebirds, so we'll bring it back out to neutral again with 6:59 to play in the first.
Firebirds still with 41 seconds left on their power play. And the Magicians right now looking pretty good on the penalty kill.
I was going to bring this up. You touched on it earlier on tonight. Remember in the third period on Tuesday, we talked about the conversation with Jason Bennett at the bench. Going back and listening to the play-by-play call, we called for that boarding to be a 5-minute major when they went to the box. There was some confusion. It was only a 2. That's what the conversation was with Jason Bennett over at the bench. And you'd have to be assured that from here on out, everybody that's wearing the official stripes is probably clear on the rule, admittedly knowing that they made a mistake on Tuesday night.
It just surprised me that the first 3 were called correctly, the first 3 boardings, and then the fourth one was not. At a stage of the game where the Magicians trailed by a goal, should have had 3 more minutes on a power play. You know, who knows what might have happened, but, you know, and the referees they knew they made a mistake, but now the 2-minute penalty is almost over. Can you tack the rest of the time up? That was the situation. And they just decided it was too late. The penalty had started to change it. So, for the best of my knowledge, that's what happened.
Puck's up and out of play on Sortland's blocker side. 6:35 to play in the first. 17 seconds remains on the power play time for Devils Lake. They were at Jamestown on the 27th. They won by a score of 4-3. Really made 19 stops in that one. He had the shutout at Botno Rugby. That was at the Lumberdome. I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was at Burdick Arena, a home game against Botno Rugby, where Rulli pitched the goose egg. 5 seconds on the shorthanded clock for the Magis. It's taken down into the offensive zone by Feld. Feld's got the puck underneath the goal line, left side of the radio dial. Offensive zone for the Magi. This is the blocker side of Rulli. 6:10 to play in the first. 3 Firebirds down low, 1 Magician. Puck is freed by Devils Lake, and they'll send this one all the way down the length of the ice. The rolling puck turns back towards the far side wall, so the icing is waved off as the Magi moving ahead forward. That was Derwin Hauser. It's dumped in from center ice by the Firebirds. And Minot High's on the retreat with Hertz. Tries to move it ahead forward. Top of the circle, near wing. Casey Feld D-zone out to the neutralized territory. And then right back in as it's hammered ahead forward off of Camden Schwab. Here come the Magi again back to center ice. It's a teeter-totter match at center as the battle continues for possession. As now it's taken by the Magi, dumped in. Back at the point. One-timer comes in, and Voller let that one rip off the stick of Rulli. Nice save from the Devils Lake net keeper. Shot number 12. Should have been number 13. They didn't give him credit for it. They thought it was going wide. Nevertheless, 5 minutes, 8 seconds to play here in the first. Minot High up by a pair with possession of the puck in the offensive zone. Voller at the line, sends it in. That one hit traffic of the waiting Camden Schwab in front of his own net. Back at the center ice checkered stripe. It's pinned in there by Tyson. He dumps it back down in behind Rulli. Far side corner, that one hit Eric Steele on the attempt to clear here for Devils Lake as Aiden Moser moved it up to neutral. Minot High's got a brick wall built right at center ice. Voller, the D-man with one hand on his stick, shuffles it ahead forward back into Devils Lake defensive territory. Minot High has them hemmed in at neutral. 4:30 to play here in the first period. Still 2-0 Magi as Devils Lake tries to break out the rush again. They can't do it. Held in by the Magi. It's Morelli back to Plemmel. Whistles one in. And Rulli into the butterfly. He'll put the play to a close.
Magicians pinching well in the neutral zone, as you said, and keeping that puck in. A lot of the kids that might be listening out there have no idea what you're talking about when you say teeter-totter. Remember, that's one of those weapons of mass destruction that we had to get rid of because it's way too dangerous. You know, same as the merry-go-round. What a travesty. There's no merry-go-rounds anymore. Remember when you used to get your legs stuck underneath there at full speed and you just wanted to see when it would finally stop and how many rocks would cut your legs? That was good times. They took it all away.
The glory days.
Yep.
I can't imagine a young Larry McFall in the merry-go-round. How old were you the last time you were on one of those? 45? 4 minutes, 3 seconds left here in the first. Minot High up by a pair. They've got the shot advantage at 13-7. Devils Lake, the team that's in town tonight. Devils Lake's on the attack as they bring it into the Minot High defensive zone. This is Zach Boren back behind the net. He was met nicely by Opperud. He pinned him down, freed the puck. And now it's Stenberg with a backhand up to Peyton Fillion. Fillion makes a move, breaks into the offensive zone. Glove side of Rulli. Puck's back in behind the net where it was taken there by Riley Reed, one of the captains for Devils Lake. He moved it up the near wall. And it comes into the near side half boards defensive zone for the Firebirds. Now to center. Riley Reed pushes ahead forward, sends one in. And the stop is made from Trey Sortland. Can of corn for him with 3:22 to play to 2-0. First period, Minot High on top.
As long as Sortland can see those pucks, he's out at the top of his blue. The defense is keeping them away. They're taking the long-distance shot. There's nobody in front screening or creating traffic in front. He's going to be just fine. The defense is doing a good job of helping him out here tonight.
Face-off coming on Sortland's glove side and winning the draw for Devils Lake back to the point. That was Braden Abrahamson. Comes back up the near side wall trying to clear the zone for the Magi, and doing so was Hunter Cope. Lead pass into the offensive territory for Hauser. Hauser lost the foot race to Camden Schwab, and Schwab moved it up the near side wing. Left side of the radio dial on the near side wall. Left side of the ice over to the right. Puck goes out to center where it's going to be freed now for Hertz. Hertz takes a look, had his pocket picked, but it comes right back into the possession of the Magi as that one went off a skate there of 16. Ashton Hillman. Now the Magi bring it forward with Hunter Cope. Bump pass too far ahead of Hillman. Back in the D territory for Minot High, and on the forecheck here for Devils Lake, picking up the puck, Devier. He's underneath the net. Now it's going to be taken by Deal, and the Magi start the rush back out to center. Ahead forward it comes. Minot High's in with it with Hillman. Hillman on the glove side takes it underneath the goal. Now it's taken by Deal. There's a scrum over in the corner. And it looks like Jeremiah Hill's over there having a conversation with Hillman. They continue to talk it out. And the boys will be boys tonight in this East First West showdown with 2:23 left in the first. Minot High up 2-0. No penalties called on the play. By the way, I was on a merry-go-round a couple weeks back. I went and saw my daughter. She's 4.
Does actually still one exist?
Yeah, and a teeter-totter.
Oh, my.
It was hard to explain the concept when I've got her outweighed by 210 pounds.
Boy, the Liberals haven't got to that playground yet.
Easy. 2:17 to play in the first. A drive coming. And up. It went off the shoulder of Rulli. Here come the Firebirds back to center. Puck pushed up the near wall from Riley Rood, Sent back underneath the net. Take it here and hammered ahead forward all the way back into Devils Lake territory. And on the pickup again is Rood. Moves it away to the near side wing. D zone for the Firebirds. It's the Magicians with controls. It's taken here by Deal. He's got a pin on the wall, far side wing. This is the right side of the ice surface, trying to hold the line for the Magi. Was Tyson on the lead, passes up. Here come Devier, sends it in. The stop is made. Another save there from Sortland, and Sortland hangs tight to it on the 2-on-1 opportunity for the Firebirds. Sortland looking sharp tonight in his debut as the starting netminder for the Magi. The sophomore registers save number 8 and number 9. Here with 1:33 to play in the opening frame. Still 2-0 Minot High School. Well, Stenberg picked up his first goal of the year. Morelli netted his second. Those are the two to report here from the Pepsi Rink tonight so far in this Devils Lake Minot High School hockey matchup. Here's Fillion up through center ice. He's in over the Devils Lake stripe and takes it up the near side wall. If you're new to Minot High hockey, by the way, Tom Fillion's one of the greatest to ever play for the Magi. His name goes down in history probably in my mind is the best player to ever come through, maybe the most storied player to ever come through the program. He was a Mr. Hockey. There's the 1-minute call from Duffy Novak. Slap shot. Stortland made the stick save, and he kicked it to the corner. Puck comes back over to the far side wall for Camden Schwab. Fillions got it on the far side wall. Defensive zone for the Magi up to Stenberg. Chips it high up off the glass and now tries to move it into offensive territory. Stenberg still on the forecheck, and he gets around the check there of Riley Rood, and the puck comes back into the possession of Deal in the offensive zone. Top of the circle near wing. We're down to 25 seconds to play in the 2-0 first period. Minot High with the lead. Up to center ice for Devil's Lake, but Hertz moves it right back into the neutral ice territory. Now it's taken by the Firebirds. They dump it right back behind Sortland. Cut them down, kids. We're under 10. We're at 7, 6, 5. Cut them down. Here's Hertz near wall. Moved it up to Cope at center. That should do it for the period. It will. Here's the horn. What a start tonight for the Magi. They're up 2-0 at the end of one. We'll hear from Wade Reguer, the head coach of the MSU Beavers. He'll be in the booth to talk about the matchup tomorrow night, the state of Beavers hockey. Larry will have all the stats for you. We'll have the analysis of the period as well. Minot High gets goals from Stenberg and Morelli to put them in the driver's seat of this East First West showdown tonight. Minot High leads 2-0 at the end of one. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
My name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com.
I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com. It's time for the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. First International has you covered. Let's go back to the press box for the stats, analysis, and everything else Magi hockey.
17 minutes in the books, and Minot High is on top of Devils Lake tonight by a score of 2-0. This is the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. Huge thanks to First International Bank and Trust. Again, proud supporter of everything that happens here at the Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena. The Zamboni on the ice right now with the First International stamps all over the sides of the ice resurfacer. They do such a great job supporting the community. They're a great bank as well. Visit First International Bank and Trust at firstinternationalbank.com. Minot High had goals from Kyler Stenberg and Aiden Morelli in the first period. First goal came at 3:05. It was Stenberg from Peyton Fillion that put the Magi on the board first. At 7:45, it was Tatum Hertz that set up Peyton Fillion. This was a power play. They found Aiden Morelli, and Morelli tucked it home. His second goal of the year. Peyton Fillion picking up point number 2 and 3 tonight. He had 1 assist on Tuesday. And at the end of one period play, Minot High sits on the 2-0 lead. Shots in the hockey game so far, 13-10 in favor of Minot High. It's the goaltender Trey Sortland for the Magi getting his first varsity call, stopping 10 of 10. On the other side, the goaltender Regan Ruley turning aside 11 of 13. Nick Hulberg alongside of Wade Regier, now the head coach of the Minot State University Beavers. Wade, always great to see you. Thanks for a little time tonight on a Thursday night here at the Mesa Arena. What are your thoughts on this high school hockey game so far tonight?
I mean, it's exciting. I mean, even during when the heart of the season is rolling, you're just so used to Minot High playing Tuesday, Thursday nights, and for us, we're always gone on the weekend and we're playing at home that we never get the chance to afford it to watch these kids play. And as we talked off the air, a lot of these kids, I had coached them in these Pee Wee All-Star teams for back-to-back summers in 2015, 2016. So it's kind of enjoyable to finally get to see them. But you know what? It's a great game. I mean, geez, I thought it was going to be Minot High roll away with it early on, but the Devils Lake has come roaring back, and now it's made itself into a game.
If you're Jen Stokey, the head coach of the Devils Lake Firebirds, what's your main message in the locker room right now for this hockey club that's down by 2 at the end of one?
I think what's always been the message of Devils Lake is just hang on until the third. Hang on until the third. It's the same as when we had Holden Kurtz, who's then Devils Lake, and they beat Minot High in Minot that season where Minot High went on to win the state title. Is that they would just hang on until the very end, and then all of a sudden a bouncer away goes your way, and all of a sudden you're up on it. So if they can keep this game close, 2-0, and maybe get one in the second or whatever, they're going to try to hang on. But you know what? I think Minot High's power play looked very good. You know what? Even being able to move the puck, and so I think for both teams, discipline could be the key, because if even with Minot High, I think they had outshot them was 10-1, and then all of a sudden Devils Lake had a power play and they had 7 shots on goal, and Trey Sortland made some big saves. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game goes in the second period. You got to stay disciplined because you don't want to give the other team afford them an extra opportunity on the power play.
High school hockey in Minot has always been something that draws a pretty good crowd. Another, no exception here tonight. I mean, looking at probably 200-300 people here at the Mesa Arena, which isn't bad for a Thursday night for a high school hockey game. It's starting more and more to develop some more players for your program. The Minot State University Beavers, one of the top ACHA Division I college hockey programs in the country. You look at some of the local players on your club this year. Connor Schuster played for Minot High School. You've got Matt Flom and Bray Efforts, a goaltender, along with Holden Kurtz from Devils Lake, who is one of the best goaltenders to ever come through the Firebirds program over on the eastern side of the state. Touch on that just a little bit, Wade, how great it is for you to be able to come to a game on a Thursday night and do a little scouting while you're here eating popcorn and hanging with your daughter.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's for us, our program, when I took over, that was one of my target areas, is to really kind of find a way to get some of these local kids on our program. And there wasn't a shortage of local players good enough to play. They would choose to go in another direction or play at another level or not play at all. And, it kind of started with the Brett Fiddlers and Kyle Stevens and the Jordan Willards. And, now it's really allowed us to really focus on a lot of Minot High kids as an option for them. Of course, within our program, we do prefer that they play junior hockey. Doesn't matter if it's, the NA3 level or, the NAHL, or even now, which we've seen just vast growth in Canada with Easton Bennett playing up there and Bismarck High players playing in Estevan, and then there's that McChesney kid who played in Dickinson who's playing in Estevan. I even have Weyburn Red Wings coaches asking, well, when should I be coming down to watch all these kids? Because why all of a sudden are all these explosion of North Dakota kids coming up north? And so, and you know what? That comes from culture. You know, it's a want to be a place to play. It's a great building. It's a great university. And so now that once we have this steady stream, we really hope that it always paves the way. And, you know, there's no secret. Easton Bennett is one of our top kids, and we're really hoping that we get him next year. And, you know, it's nice having his dad being a former player and his dad the current Minot High coach. And so we feel like we have the inside track. But you know what? I think it comes down to that Minot as a community has really done a good job of developing their kids to play at the next level. And, you know, you're seeing it right now with the Bantam AA team that we had last year, you know, getting to the state final. And now you see so many of them sprinkled in on this team. And, you know, and that's what we're hopefully seeing in the future.
Your hockey club right now, 9-4-1-1, if that's correct. Currently ranked number 14 in the country for the ACHA. This is kind of uncharted territory for you guys. You haven't been there in a while. Yep. And by there, I mean outside of the top 5 in the rankings for a long time. Minot State's been a staple in the top 5 after the national title win back in 2012-2013. For you right now with the program, are you hitting the panic button right now? Where are you at with the program? Obviously, there's it's like Larry said earlier with the high school program, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But for you, how much of a sprint is it really trying to get back up into the top 5?
It really is turning into it now. You know, for our program, we knew there was going to be some bumps along the way. This is the youngest team in my 9 years. And you know what? The thing that our guys have realized is you can't take nights off. You know what? I think the last 3 years we were ranked number 1 for 41 of 46 weeks. We dominated, you know, college hockey at the ACHA level, and we were so talented that we'd win taking nights off. You know what? We'd still win 5-1 or 4-2 or whatever. With this young team, we can't afford that. And you know what? We took a couple nights off. We took a night off against University of Utah, who's ranked 30th, and we lost to Colorado State and Colorado, that are two teams that will not be at the national tournament. And those two losses are really what's hurting us. And so, you know what, for our guys, though, we know that we're going to get to the national tournament. And, you know, the last 5 games have been really good for us. I mean, we've been on fire. We had, UNLV and ASU come here, and we had a big sweep with there. And then we took care of business in tight games against our arch rival in Jamestown. And we know we've got some tough games in the second half of the semester. We've got a very good Colorado team coming up here. We go to UNLV and Arizona State on a road trip there. And we also have a major monster road trip with University of Illinois in Illinois. So we know we have to get better. It's certainly, for us, it's rare to be at number 14. But at this point, we're not hitting the panic button. If we're starting to be inconsistencies and losing those games late in the year, we're going to have a different story. But you know what? We got a lot of faith in our locker room, and we know we're going to get the job done. And I think some of those losses were so bad that we know that they were so bad. I think we've learned from them.
Is it fair to say that your young hockey team was maybe trying to find an identity at the start of the
Absolutely.
year? You know, for me, watching so many years where guys like Jeremy Johnson and then Fournier and Robbie Moore and Yano, and there was just so many guys that were around for so long. You talk about how good you guys were. Well, this is a new hockey club trying to maybe fit into that a little bit. You feel that you found that identity now?
Absolutely. You know, we had such elite players that were like first-team All-American countrywide, where, you know, you talk to coaches and it was Jeremy Johnson, their entire focus as a team was stopping him. Last year, Austin Yano. I mean, he was a dynamic player that was in on 50% of our goals at the national tournament as being those type of things. This year, it's going to be by committee. It's going to have to be by committee. We don't have, you know, guys that are going to be in the top 10, top 20 in scoring, so why don't we spread it out amongst everywhere else that goes with it? You know, and the other part of it, too, that everybody talked about is, you know, we had some early inconsistencies with our goaltending early on, and now it's been absolutely red hot. You know, Bray Efforts has been absolutely outstanding. You know, and earlier in the year, Josh Bykowski had some early struggles, and all of a sudden he bounces back with one of his probably his best performances, Beaver, against Jamestown on home here a couple weeks ago before the break. And so I think that's been kind of coinciding with it. And, you know, we talk about years past, we would outshoot teams 50 to 15, and, you know, our goaltenders are expected to make 15 saves and maybe a couple saves. This year we're expecting them to say, hey, you need to make a heck of a lot more, be a lot more busy. And you know what, there might be times where we might expect our goaltenders to steal one from us. And so those things have kind of changed a little bit. And we talk about our identity. Yeah, that is going to be our identity. We're going to have a goaltender steal one from us every once in a while. And, you know, and it's not the perfect world as a coach, but you know what? That's just who we are. And so, you know what? We're going to be ready to go. Like I said, the same year happened 3 years ago with our young team that we had. We caught fire right after Christmas, went on a huge streak, and then at the national tournament got to the Final Four with then my youngest team. So hopefully we get back on track here, and we got a big one tomorrow night.
I was just going to bring up tomorrow night, back to business here at Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena. This is a place that Beavers hockey you guys rarely lose here. You have one of the best fan bases in the entire country. At home, you guys 6-1-1 at home this year. I mean, the winning percentage here is great. You bring in University of Mary, which is naturally a rival with Minot State in any athletic program, naturally anything. Talk about the matchup tomorrow night at 7:30 here at Pepsi Rink with the Mary Marauders that are a first-time college hockey club coming to town.
It's exciting. You know what? There's a lot of buzz ever since they, made the decision that they wanted to have hockey at the ACHA level, and you just knew right away that this was going to be heated right away. It's just like I talk to any other Bismarck-Minot rivalry, either the Bobcats or the Toros or Minot High and Bismarck High, or even going down to youth sports. You talk about, the Bismarck-Minot hockey playing against Minot in Minot. It's just a heated rivalry, and now we get it at the college level. And so, we're excited. They are super excited over there. They have got it packaged in a 3-deal where they got girls basketball, men's basketball, and hockey. And you know what? We're ready to lock horns and start a new history.
Best of luck tomorrow night. What does it take to get a win against Mary?
You know what? Just be absolutely physical. It's for us. They haven't played any D1 teams. We got to use our big old 24, 25, and 26-year-olds against some of their young guys, and let's just be physical and go with a sense of abandonment and go out and play hard.
Always love taking some of your time. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Thursday night with us up here in the booth.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, I love listening to you guys, and like I said, it's a treat to be able to come and watch a game. And like I said, even when I pop in the car, I get to listen to you guys on the radio and love it.
Better hurry up and get that headset off. Old McFall here is about to have a meltdown. Just about time for our second frame here tonight. Devils Lake and Minot High going toe-to-toe. We'll keep it here as we get set for this second period. Minot High up 2-0 on goals from Stenberg and Aiden Morelli. The Magi will move from the left to the right for the middle frame, right to the left for the Firebirds from Devils Lake. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall on the call here tonight. We want to thank Wade Regier for swinging by. Always great to talk to the Minot State University head coach, Wade Regier. One of the best in the business, if you ask me. 2013 ACHA Coach of the Year. We're underway for the second frame. Puck is in the Devils' Lake zone. Possession belongs to the Magi. Not for long. It's taken away here by the Firebirds, and they're going to carry back out to center ice as Devier moves it ahead forward, comes back up to Moser. Aiden Moser can't get a handle on it and rolls all the way back in behind the goaltender, Ruley. Puck lays behind the goal line of the Devils Lake net keeper on the blocker's side. Away with it comes Morelli. Takes it away back to the point. Opperud tees it up, gets it back, sends it forward. Bouncing puck back behind the net to Philly. It sends it in front to Morelli. Morelli's going to take it back behind the net now and back over to Philly, but it's taken here by the Firebirds, and they go high up off the glass and out to center ice where it will be taken and moved ahead forward by Blair Martinson. He dumps it into Magi territory. They go off for a change, and the Magi are back in. Stenberg takes it down, fires, and he's stopped by Ruley. Puck comes back away to Nick Murphy near wall. Underneath the goal line down, puck away to the far wing. Left side of the ice surface, taken here by the Firebirds, and out to center they come with Carter Schwab, who takes it and dumps it down with the help of Zach Bourne near wing. Goes off for Riley Opperud. He pushes it right back up to center ice, and it's the Firebirds regaining possession with Hunter Swanson. Back at center ice, look out. Puck goes up into the Devils' Lake bench, and with 15:25 to play in the second to stop of the play, still 2-0 Minot High.
We didn't have a chance to go through the stats at the intermission, but Trey Sorghum had 10 saves on 10 shots for the Magicians. Reagan Ruley, 11 saves on 13 shots. There was only 2 penalties in the first period, 1 on the Firebirds and 1 on the Magicians.
You didn't like that comment about you getting antsy to get back on the mic?
I didn't hear it. Can't hear I tried to listen to you guys, but they're just way too loud in here.
Wade Regier, always great, taking some of his time and talking to a great hockey mind. He played for Minot State back in the 2003, 2004, kind of that era. Puck chipped up into the rafters by Mason Deal.
I can't believe it's been that long because I was doing part-time sports at the Minot Daily, And I remember interviewing Wade as a player up in the Lumberdome before they took the ice against the Lumberjacks. And now I'm realizing that's about 13 some years ago. I'm just like, wow. You know how time just moves on. Doesn't wait for us, does it?
Time flies, that's for sure. Flying in this one, too. We're at 15 minutes remaining in the second. Minot High is up by a 2-0 score over the Firebirds from Devils Lake. Again, thanks for joining us tonight on 1390 KRRZ and at ProStyleProduction.com. Happy to have you aboard. Puck comes back up to Hertz. Offensive zone, center slot. Sends it in. Really the pad save. Went down into the butterfly and made the stop. There's a scrum, underneath the goal line. It's freed now by the Firebirds. They push to center ice here with Quinn Struby. Struby sends it over to his line mate, Sandvik. He sends it in behind the goaltender for the Magi, Sortland. But the Magicians regroup and bring it out to center with Hauser. Hauser down to the corner with Casey Feld. Feld's behind the net. I like this Feld character for the Magi. Wears number 6. Gritty little player. He's got the puck here, and he moves it back to the far point. Voller to the near point. Here's a drive coming in. That one sailed up from Tice. Kind of like he took the 9-iron with that one.
Yeah, that looked like a Hulberg shank on the approach shot there on that one.
There's Voller with a slap shot really down into the butterfly. Grabs it with the glove, and he hangs tight. 13:54 to play in the second, 2-0.
For you hockey fans that don't come to the Nodak Speedway, Nick and I are announcing partners at the Playground of Power as well, and then we're doing hockey all winter, so we work with each other a lot. Racing in the summer, hockey in the winter, so it just gets to where we have to give each other a little grief.
Voller fired one in. Morelli tipped it in front. The stop was made from Rulli, and Stenberg's got the puck below the net now as he works it back underneath Otogretzky's office. Stenberg with a little bit of room with a backhand. Sends it up to Morelli. Lets it go for Voller. Far point. Across to the near. Tice sends it down into the corner. Fillion on the retrieve. Sends it back up to the point, but no one home for the Magi. The puck's taken away and moved out to Blair Martinson, who dumps it back in behind Sortland for the Magi. 13:17 to play in the second. Shots are 16-10 Minot High. They lead 2-0. If you're just joining us tonight, Stenberg scored early on in the contest, 3 minutes in, followed by a goal from Morelli at the 7:45 mark of the first. Loose in front of the Magi net. It's Morelli trying to take it away. Puck taken back by the Firebirds, and the slap shot from Camden Schwab came in. Another stick save was made from Sortland. Top of the circle, far side, into the butterfly, and the stop is made on the Riley Root attempt.
Sortland's into the game now. He's had enough time to get into it. The shots are almost even now here at 16-11 in favor of the Magicians. And he is really coming out of the blue paint on those shots from the tops of the circle. And Sortland really good with his angles right now. And he's not giving any rebounds. He's holding the puck on the initial shot. And that's a huge factor for him.
Out to center ice. The Magi bring it ahead forward, carrying the puck into the offensive zone. This is Luck that's got it. He takes it down underneath the goal line. Backhand centering feed. No one home. Center of the ice surface. Out to center ice it comes for the Firebirds. And ahead now is Grafsgaard. He sends it in. And Sortland makes another save.
He's like a vacuum cleaner right now. There's no rebounds at all.
Nice job tonight from Trey Sortland. Well, I always said that if the goaltender can see the first few and get accustomed to the puck and not have to fight it much, a kid at this level should be able to stop most of that stuff from the outside perimeter, and that's exactly what Sortland's done here tonight. Taken into the defensive zone by the Magi off the draw in their own territory. Plemmel's over there working on it on the left side of the ice surface down at the hash marks. It's underneath the goal line now. It's pushed out from behind the net. Wraparound attempt, no good there. Sortland denies the attempt from 17, Sandvik. And Minot High dumps it down as on the attack is Plemmel out to play. It was Rulli. Deals behind the net. Sends it back underneath to Plemmel. Centering feed. No one home for the Magi as it's taken out to center ice. And with a head of steam, it's taken by Quinn Struby. His pocket was picked by Opperud, and Riley Opperud brings it back in. Now Deal has it. Fancy move from Deal to free it underneath the net. Backhand pass. Free to cross. Over to Nick Murphy. The Magi looking like a well-oiled machine with a drive from the line. That one from Hertz. Off Rulli's glove, and the puck is set up in the corner now by Nick Murphy.
Walks out, backdoor feed, a drive. Hertz was robbed of the one-time attempt. Nick Murphy back at center ice. How about the Magi? They look like they've been playing together for years, looking more like the Beavers right now than a young high school hockey club as it comes back to Plemmel. Turns it towards the net, waffle board save. 11-10 to play in the second. Minot High trying to build on the 2-goal lead as this puck is launched 200 feet. An icing charge to Jeremiah Hill in the faceoff coming on Rulei's blocker side.
Yeah, they've had a few brushes with brilliance here. Great backhand pass all the way behind the net there as they wheeled it around. And the Magicians had some heat there on that last shift. And only a couple of testy saves by Ruley coming all the way out kept the Magicians from putting the third one in.
Minot High up 2-0 off the draw. Drive comes in, whistled up and over the net on the attempt from Casey Feld. Nice job defensively. Getting a stick in the way of that one was rude. Puck comes all the way back into Minot High territory off the miscue from the Magi and on the retrieve in his own defensive territory. Gabe Thongfetz back to retrieve, and it comes away to Hertz. Hertz ahead forward into the offensive zone. Casey Feld underneath the circle, right side of the ice surface, offensive territory. From behind the net, spins it back away to the far wall. He's underneath the goal line now. Near side wing runs into Andy Carton. The referee frees it. Delayed call coming as the puck will be touched here by Carter Schwab. I didn't see it, but I see that Feld is on the ice and the arm came up immediately from Carton. It's an interference call.
Yeah, I think there's call it interference, but the stick actually got up and got the Magician right in the face. So I don't know if that's interference or not. Feld took the high stick. They're going to call interference, though, and that penalty comes at the 6:36 mark here of period number 2.
Camden Schwab into the box for the Firebirds. First International Bank intermission report coming up in 10 minutes, 24 seconds after this second period comes to a close. Put that thinking cap on, Larry. With your 44 years of Magi hockey, you have to have a good Devil's Lake story somewhere there. Love to hear it. Opperud back over. Up to Murphy. Opperud, a one-timer. That was a hammer job from the point. It hit traffic in front, and now the Firebirds cleared all the way down. Back in behind the goaltender, Sortland, as Opperud's back on the retrieve. Have to tell you, I may have been the most impressed with Riley Opperud on Tuesday night. He's not disappointing again here tonight. Plemmel into the offensive zone. Takes it down below the net. Work back up to Deal. Far side circle, left side of the ice surface. Wrap around, walkout, save, rebound. Ruley makes 2 stops there on Plemmel's opportunity. And it's Opperud back at center ice to regroup for the Magi. Here's the young sophomore up through neutral. He's going to walk in, top of the circle, near wing, hits the brakes and works it back to the line. Sends it across. Over to Deal, stick handling and shuffling it down underneath the goal line. Back to Plemmel now. Deal looks for the outlet. Deal being hounded heavily there. On top of him is Martinson. Puck comes back up to Opperud at the line, but that one was ankle height, so he had to clear it, move it back into the zone. Minot High needs to touch up on the odd sides. They do now. It's fired back at center. Opperud gloved it down on the near wall. It's moved into offensive territory. Bouncing puck at center ice, comes back in for Fillion. Fillion's going to crash towards the net, makes a move. Oh, tried to slide it in through the 5-hole. Excellent play from Fillion, but he was robbed by Ruley. Aiden Morelli's down underneath the goal line. Back away to Fillion. At the point it comes, here's Bonebreak. Thinks about it, drops it to Fillion, near circle, sends it in. That one went up and just wide on the blocker's side, make a glove side of Ruley. Fillion wheeling and dealing. Back up to Morelli at the point. Bonebreak. Drops it back over to Morelli near side wing. Morelli's at the bottom of the circle off to Philly at 5 seconds on the power play for the Magi. They work it back to Hertz. Hertz has it, sends it in, blocker save. And the Firebirds kill off a Minot High power play. Not without some pressure from the Magi, however. That's the best looking power play we've seen in quite some time for the Magi.
Yeah, the Firebirds had to work on defense to protect that time.
Back to retrieve in his own territory. Moving it head forward was Bonebreak. Puck is sent back in behind Sortland, and on the retrieve for the Firebirds is Schwab. Tried to move it back up to his own D-man, Riley Rude, but it escapes the zone, and the Firebirds regain control at center. 7:50 to play in the second. Minot High's up by a pair. They got both of those in the first. It was Stenberg and Fillion cracking the score sheet tonight.
Other than that, we've had a pretty good East First West showdown tonight at the Pepsi Rink. We thank you for joining us at ProStyleProduction.com. And, of course, at 1390, there's an offsides on the Firebirds. And we'll have a face-off coming out to the neutral ice zone.
The Devils Lake player got away with one there. Aaron Johnson firing that puck after the whistle, and it went up high on the goaltender, Sortland. I can't believe that not any more came out of that than that. But Magicians moving around real well on that power play, even though they didn't score. And they're still helping Sortland out immensely, keeping things away from the slot. Right now, everything looks good for the Magician fans.
7:28 to play in the second. Minot High up by a pair. 2-0. Puck at the point. Defensive zone for the Magi as Jeremiah Hill was crushed there by 16. That's Ashton Hillman. Hillman plays with a little bit of an edge, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And a lot of these players play summer hockey all over the three-state area. And it shows.
Shot from the point, fired in by Voller. That one gloved. And the face-off will come on the glove side. Make it the blocker side of the goaltender, Regan Ruley. Well, there's nothing I like more than hard-hitting, in-your-face hockey. That's what the Magicians look to deliver with that line of Hillman.
Yep, they know they need to be physical. Jordan Willard talked about that last night, to get the team more physical, and they're doing exactly what they want tonight.
Puck dumped in from the line by Bonebreak. It's Nick Murphy that's got it near wall. Sent to Topperud. Back to Murphy. Here's number 9 for the Magi. Sooner slot walked in, fired it wide. Puck goes away at the hash marks underneath the goal line now. It's sent to head forward. Back to Nick Murphy at the point. Bonebreak scored on Tuesday. Tries again. Fires in front. Knocked down. The puck taken by the Firebirds, and they're going to clear it out to center. It's all of a sudden a 2-on-1, but Opperud's back, and Riley Opperud takes it away and moves it right back through neutral ice where Plemmel was crushed. Bonebreak gets the puck and skates it into the zone. Right side of the ice surface. Down low it comes. Nick Murphy has it. Underneath the goal line. Puck bounced away to Jaden Luck. Luck's down there scrubbing forward. He's going to take it away from the Firebirds. He ties it up on the wall. Half boards on the far side. Right to left on your radio dial. It's the Firebirds trying to push to center. They do. They hit their own player, and Riley Rude's back to retrieve it. And Rude sends it in. Stenberg on the retrieve for the Magi. With the help back there of 15, Thongfett for the Magicians. Thongfett has it behind the net, wraps it around the near side wall up to Stenberg. Here's the captain of the Magi up the near side wall, dumps it in. Regan Ruley played it with the right pad. Puck's underneath the goal line. Comes away to Morelli. Back to the point. Thongfett thinks about it. Sends it away to the far side corner. Bounces down low. Left side of the ice surface. Left hash, I should say, on the right side of the radio dial, if that makes sense. Blocker side of Ruley is where the puck's at. Puck comes back away now to the Firebirds out to neutral ice. They've got control with Carter Schwab. Schwab is in. He's over the line. Whistles one in, and Trace Stortland stops the play.
What we're seeing tonight that we didn't see last night, at least I didn't see last night, is the Magicians are doing an outstanding job of getting that puck back to the point on the attack. Instead of just trying to have the wingers in deep, centering it in front with a bunch of bodies and legs, they're now using their points. And when haven't you been in a game yelling, use the point, use the point? You know, they're doing it tonight. And it's really a well-executed play that the Magicians have been using those defensemen. You can be so much more aggressive when you do use your points and let those guys shoot it on goal or dump it back in. So I really like what I'm seeing tonight on that.
Thongfett trying to clear his own zone off the face-off. He bumps it ahead to Hunter Cope, and Hunter Cope's in a foot race back into the offensive zone. Sends it towards the net. Pitchforked it on the way to the goal. The stop was made. Puck pushed back out to center ice by the Firebirds, and Hunter Cope lays some lumber at center ice. That was a big hit. He got into it there with John Rutan. Puck away to Hunter Cope. Far wall, sends it back in behind Ruley, who's out to play it. Leaves it in behind. The Magicians heavy on the forecheck. Freed back in front of the cage. Puck comes free. Trying to send that one on was Hauser. Couldn't get a handle on it, and it's picked up here by Aiden Moser. Moser's got a little bit of real estate. Can't do much with it. Hauser takes it away and sends it right back deeper into the zone. Behind the net for the Firebirds with room. Near side wing trying to clear it out. This is Quinn Strubing. Moves it ahead forward, comes back to Voller in his own territory. Voller up to Nick Murphy at the blue line, shuffles ahead, and now Casey Feld's in. Top of the circle, near wing, sends it towards the net. The stop is made, and Eric Steele's got the whistle. We'll have a call coming here. And is it Deal that's going to the box? No, it's a Firebird.
No, Deal got pulled down on the 2-on-1. That took away the opportunity for a slot pass. And so, yeah, that's going to be a penalty on the Firebirds, and that comes at the 12:57 mark. The Magicians go on the power play.
Johnson to the box. That's Aaron Johnson, number 11 for the Firebirds. So the Magi power play comes back to the ice. Well, do they bring the horses back out? They've got Oprud at the point with Deal. You've got Nick Murphy with Stenberg. And on the far side, you have Plemmel. In to take the draw for the Firebirds is 15. That's Devier. Devier kicked out of the circle here by Jake Stack. So to take the draw is Blair Martinson. 5 points in 2 games for Martinson coming into tonight's matchup. But the Magicians have kept him quiet. They've kept them all quiet. It's 2-0 Minot High. Here's Deal. Far side circle. Sends it in front. Tipped by Stenberg, but he tipped it just wide. Nick Murphy at the point. Operud sends it in. Rebound loose in front like sharks in the water. Banging at it. Minot High can't quite find the back of the net. Look out.
Heads up.
That puck went flying into the Minot High bench on a hard wrist shot from Devier. Devier just about got Jordan Willard and Jason Bennett. Put the puck right in between them. Look out.
Boy, what a nice play on the point there by Deal right before that. Keeping that in and keeping that power play cycle in the puck. A lot of good soft hands tonight for the Magicians.
Here's Deal at the point. Fires one towards the net. The bouncer went wide of Ruley. At the half boards, here's Nick Murphy. Clear eye-tech bubble up to Operud. He also wears the clear eye-tech mask. In the drive, the stop is made. Ruley with the left pad. Back to the point. Operud at the blue line. Sends it across with the saucer pass to Nick Murphy. Top of the circle, down to a minute 12 of the power play, like a well-oiled machine tonight. Here's a drive from Deal. Save, rebound loose in front. Ruley way out of the net to play it. Puck comes underneath the goal line. Back to Plemmel. Plemmel turns, fires. Oh, that one went just wide of the glove side. Now Operud's at the line, sends it across, back to Deal, taking away Martinson. Nice job by Martinson, knocked it out of the air, and then he launched it 200 feet. Sortland's behind his own net to play it back to Operud. We're down to 45 on the Magi power play. That's been snake bitten here in the second period tonight, but they have struck for one power play goal.
Might be snake bitten, but it looks good. The goaltender is keeping them off the board.
Far side wing into the offensive zone. With it comes Casey Feld. Far wall tried to move it ahead forward. Look out, taken and launched again by Hunter Swanson all the way down. And then it's Sortland that's out of the net to play it. And Sortland shows that he can play the puck a bit. He moved it back up to Fillion, but it's right back in him on high defensive territory where Hertz has to regain control and set up shop with the final 9 seconds to tick away here on the Magi power play. Aiden Morelli at center ice was hounded heavily by Carter Schwab. Schwab took it away. Look out. Puck whistled up off the glass and all the way down. Firebirds kill off the penalty with a minute 56 to play in the second. The Magi up by 2. And they have control of the puck as Morelli accepts from Fillion. He's into the offensive zone. Morelli dropped back. Fillion, one-timer, hit the back of the skates of Aiden Moser. Fillion's back behind the net. Puck is freed down to Jeremiah Hill. He moves it up to center ice for Devils Lake, and on the retrieve was Bonebreak. Then Morelli working on it at center. Comes back to Jeremiah Hill, who's in. Fires. That one hits Bonebreak in the shin pads. Puck goes to the corner on the near wing. We're down to the final 90 seconds to play here in the second. Rolling puck comes all the way down, and there's an icing.
I just love when you say those names because it's second-generation players. Jay Bonebreak, probably one of the best defensemen that's ever played here at Minot High. His son out there looking very good on defense. We've got Morelli. Lots of names that have been around for a long time. Fillion.
Well, we started talking about Tommy Fillion. Can't say single-handedly, but just about single-handedly won that 92 state title.
He won the championship game single-handedly. I was in the building. It was 8-7, and it was an unbelievable. It turned into the Tom Fillion show. towards the end there. And every time Bismarck scored, Tom would go get another one. He single-handedly pretty much won that. Not to take anything away from his other teammates, but he was on fire.
1 minute remaining in the period.
There's the 1 minute call. Thank you very much. Hunter Cope underneath the offensive net up to the point. Comes back up to the near side wing from Thongfet. Back underneath the goal line away to the far side boards now. It's taken by Voller trying to move it deeper into the zone, but it's the Firebirds that clear. And out to center ice, the bouncer comes. Puck is taken here by the Magi and ahead forward. This one off of Hillman, and Hillman trying to move it ahead forward, but now it's the Firebirds with possession, and it's John Root who carries it in. 29 seconds to play in the second period. Devils Lake down by 2 in a 2-0 affair tonight here at the Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena. Hillman's got it. He's going to cross over the center ice checkered stripe and send it down in behind Rulli. Rulli having a nice game tonight. He's seen 26 shots. He's stopped 24 of them. Trey Sortland on the other end from Minot High has gone 12 for 12, but here come the Firebirds again. Abrahamson's in. Top of the circle, cut him down 2-1. Here's the horn. And at the end of 2, it's Minot High up by 2. First International Bank and Trust intermission report is right on the other side of the break. Larry and I will have the analysis, the stats, the recap, the whole 9 yards, and Larry's going to tell us his best Devils Lake hockey story from 44 years of involvement with the Magi. That should be worth the price of admission. 2-0 at the end of 2 periods played. Goals from Stenberg and Morelli tonight. We'll come back with the First International Bank and Trust intermission report. This is Minot High Magicians Hockey.
Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knop. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com. This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestead from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
It's time for the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. First International has you covered. Let's go back to the press box for the stats, analysis, and everything else Magi hockey.
Well, about 300 people on hand tonight for this East vs. West showdown tonight here at Pepsi Rink at Mesa Arena. It's Minot High and Devils Lake get a 2-0 dogfight at the end of two periods played. Minot High with the advantage. Nick Hulberg alongside of Mr. Larry McFall for the First International Bank and Trust Intermission Report. Special thanks again to First International Bank and Trust. Proud supporter of Minot High Magicians hockey. Larry's got the stats in front of him. Larry, let's get the keynotes of this hockey game so far. Minot High looking pretty good. That power play, that stat not on there, looking good tonight. One power play goal, but what it doesn't tell you is that they look like a well-oiled machine with the man advantage here tonight.
They're moving the puck around a lot better than they did 2 nights ago. And even when it's not a power play, their use of the points tonight has just been outstanding to keep that flow going in the attacking zone. So if you're a Magician fan, so far so good. If you're a Firebird fan, those boys aren't playing a very bad game either. You have a good goalie. That's all I know. As Reagan Ruley has 13 saves in the second period along with 11 in the first. He's got a game total of 24 now on 26 shots. And Trey Sortland, the sophomore, a surprise in the net for the Magicians. Only 2 saves in the second period. He had 10 in the first. He's got 12 for the game. And right now that is a great opening game in his high school career for Trey, doing a great job in the pipes. Penalties so far in the game. Devils Lake's been whistled 3 times for 6 minutes. The Magicians only have 1 penalty for 2 minutes. And the quality scoring chances favor Minot High right now, 6-1. Kyler Stenberg got a equal strength goal at the 3:05 mark from Peyton Fillion to make it 1-0. And Aiden Morelli added the power play goal at 7:45 in the first period on another assist from Peyton Fillion. Tatum Hurts also cashing in to get an assist there as well. And around the state real quick, thanks to Bob Gillen, I do have 2 scores reported on a fairly busy night in high school hockey in the state. Grand Forks Red River leads West Fargo Cheyenne 2-0 at the end of they're in the second period. And Grand Forks Central leads Fargo North 8-0. And that Central machine, Nick, is just buzzing through their second game of the year now. They're ahead 18-0 in their hockey game.
18 or 8?
18-0 now. 8 today, but they won that other game against Orano 10-0. So they put in 18 goals so far in 5 periods of hockey. So get ready, North Dakota.
How do you feel about that?
You know how I feel about that. It's a broken record to me. It's either Central or Red River with Bismarck High and Minot High thrown in a couple times there. I just really wish that somebody out there would give those boys a little competition, but it's not even close.
Well, you got to play the games, and that's why we're here. We'll see what happens as we come down the stretch. 7:40 away from the start of the third period.
How many stories do you want?
I'm dying to hear one good one.
Well, I guess for me, you and I have talked about, you talk about when the school song plays, you just get those, still at our age now, you still get that you just get pumped when you hear it. Well, I had never seen a high school hockey game, and in 1972, our Bantam team went down there for a 2-day tournament that was starting on Saturday and Sunday, a Bantam tournament. Devils Lake High School was playing Red River that Friday night. And I know a lot of the fans that are listening might think this is a little weird, but nowadays all the parents drive the players in youth hockey, right? Mom, dad come, they get a motel. back in those days, we basically were billeted out for the weekend. We stayed at a Devils Lake player's house for 2 nights when we were Bantams. I mean, back then, I think Devils Lake only had 1 or 2 motels, to be honest with you. 1972, I'm going back to here, way before I even played high school hockey. And so I'd never seen a game, and the billet family that I was staying with for the weekend, the Rule family, his name was Gary Rule, he was number 9, one of their stud players. His dad goes, "You want to go to a high school hockey game tonight?" I'm going, "Yeah, Minot doesn't have high school hockey. We've never seen high school hockey. I've never went to a high school hockey game." At that time, I'd still never seen a Sioux game live, so I hadn't seen anything live except us, the Bantams. So we go to the old Bill Jerome. It used to be called just Devils Lake Arena, I think. Very cold
in there.
Built by the CCC back in the 1930s or something like that. Old barn-type rink. And we go walking in, and the first thing I remember is how packed the lobby was. The second thing I remembered was all the cigarette smoke in the air, because back in those days, everyone smoked inside. So just a blue haze in the lobby. We walk into the rink, and they're warming up. And there was chicken wire fence. There was no plexiglass. The rink was surrounded by chicken wire fence. And we walk on in there, and I'm standing behind the Red River goalie. They had nameplates on their backs, and his name was Bushy. His name was Tony Bushy, and he was in there warming up for Red River. And I'm standing watching him warm up, and the shots were coming in so hard I couldn't even believe it. It's like, am I going to face that in a couple years if I make the high school team? And back in those days, we all had the full-face goalie masks. You know, there was no cages or anything. And Minot High, unfortunately, we had cheap street hockey ones. We were using Cooper HM6 plastic masks that went down almost to the bottom of your chin, and your sides of your head were exposed. The top of your head was exposed except for a strap. And he's out there warming up, and all of a sudden he turns to scoop pucks out of the net, and he's got a chunk missing out of his fiberglass mask. A chunk, and I'm like, who could possibly shoot the puck hard enough to break that? I mean, at Minot High that year, we had senior Greg Andrews from Canada, pretty good shot. Jimmy Andrews, who ended up being a standout for Minot High and almost made the Gopher hockey team in 1979. And John Willert sitting across from us over there. They're the only 3 guys that could maybe even shoot the puck that hard. And when I saw that chunk in the chin of his mask and all the cigarette smoke in the rink and all the people yelling at Red River, you know, the dreaded enemy, I'm just like, wow. And that memory really stuck in my mind. This is high school hockey, you know, and now I sit in here, Nick, and I hate to brag, but this Pepsi Arena is a gorgeous place. I mean, I'm proud to be the ice operations director here. It's just such a beautiful facility. We've got 3 sheets of ice, bright, brand new LED lighting, and then I think back to that night in Devils Lake with all the smoke in the air and the chicken wire fence, and that's how I'm dating myself because I'm that old that I was around to see that stuff. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Anybody that missed that era of hockey, same with the Lumberdome in Botno, when we went up there, chicken wire fence behind the nets, I wasn't a forward or defenseman, but you tried to get them into the wire and then get their face on the wire, and then we had one guy on our team that just loved to get his elbow up a little bit and rub their face on the chicken wire before he skated away from them, and you'd see the blood. And outside of the bench clearing brawl we had in Botno one year, when even the dads and the cops were on the ice fighting with us. I mean, to see those memories and see that stuff is just extra special. And Devils Lake was a part of it, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a high school hockey game, and it was just a great memory.
I mean, that's fantastic stuff. That's awesome story. Taking it back to 1972.
It was,
My goodness.
And how would you like it nowadays if you're a Bantam A dad? And, hey, Nick, we're dropping you off at Joe Blow's house in Devils Lake. You guys are playing 2 games down there this weekend. What? Because nowadays you're used to going to the motel with your parents. Back then, parents couldn't afford it. They could barely afford to travel on the road. Our coach had to pull teeth to get 4 parents in the old Vista Cruiser station wagons of the early days of the 70s just to get us there. No parents were there to stay. I mean, nobody had the money to stay in motels back then. So, I mean, you got billeted out. It's just crazy. Imagine that nowadays. If you could billet out your kids for the weekend and dump them off with a couple of parents and Devil. Any of you parents listening to Devil's Lake, if we could dump some kids off there next time, it would be great.
Free babysitter for the weekend.
Free babysitting.
17 minutes is all that remains tonight. Minot High and Devils Lake. They bring it to the third period when we return. This is Magi Hockey.
On the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com. They travel together, but in separate vehicles. The voices of Magi Hockey. Here's Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Time for the third and final frame of the week for the Magi as they get set for the third period. They're on the ice and awaiting the arrival of the Devils Lake Firebirds here for the third. Minot High up 2-0 with goals from Morelli and Kyler Stenberg here tonight.
You know, we take separate vehicles because I can't stand the smell of those pork rinds that you chomp down. 2 bags of pork rinds on the road. Oh, God, that stuff stinks. I just can't handle it. And then watching 15 cans of Red Bull get consumed, I just can't handle it. I got to drive myself.
I got to take it easy on that Red Bull. You get too amped up.
Yeah, I want to try to get you off a Red Bull because that is not, I'm sorry to Morelli's distributing, but that is not good for you.
Trey Sortland on the right. Regan Rulli on the left. The Magi from the right to the left to the right for the Firebirds. A drive comes in from Filionoff. The initial attack here in the third period, the stuff was made from Rulli. Shots were 26-12 heading into the third frame. You're just joining us. Goals tonight from Stenberg along with Aiden Morelli. Have the Magicians up by a pair tonight. Puck controlled here by the Firebirds. Back in their own territory. They cough it up at the blue line with Stenberg moving it ahead forward momentarily. And now with possession of the puck, it's Jeremiah Hill that moves it ahead forward into the offensive zone. It comes for Devier. Austin Devier makes a move, turns it in front to Martinson. Fan on the attempt. He went right in front of the goaltender, Trey Sortland, and the puck comes back up to neutral ice. Right back the other way now. It comes to Hunter Swanson. Swanson's in over the line. A drive comes in. The stop is made from Sortland, but a penalty coming.
Tripping.
And it will be on the Magi's bone break. 2 minutes for tripping.
1:04 the time of that penalty. That is the only thing they didn't really want to happen here at the start of the third period. And now the Magicians will have to kill off that tripping penalty on bone break. And here comes the Devils Lake power play for only the second time tonight.
Bone break, the second tallest Magician in the lineup, steps in at 6'1". They have him officially weighed at 160. In his sophomore campaign, shorthanded. That's Hunter Cope at the left side of the ice surface trying to make the move. Couldn't quite get the shot on net. 1 minute 40 seconds remains on Devils Lake's power play. We haven't seen this since the first period. They're 0 for 1 tonight. Minot High's power play's got a power play goal, 1 for 4 in the contest. Special teams has been a bright spot tonight for the Magi. This is just the opportunity the Firebirds were looking for with 1 minute 20 remaining on the man advantage. Puck comes back away to the near side wing, and it's chipped high up off the glass and out of the zone. Nice clear there for Gerwin Hauser. Early portion of the season, it's always fun to see what your different players will do in different situations. This is the time of the year for both clubs to figure out who's who of the specialty teams units. Mason deals shorthanded, brings it in. Offensive zone, fire, save, Ruley, rebound. Ruley turns aside another. Deal's got it underneath the goal line, offensive zone. But the puck taken away by the Firebirds now. They're going to climb it out to center ice and skating it ahead forward. This is Zach Boren. Boren had his pocket picked by Deal, who's back in on the 2-on-4 the other way. Pushes it all the way back out to center. It's taken by Voller with a slap shot. Voller hammers it into the offensive zone. The Firebirds are back on the attack up to center. Puck out of the skates of Kevin Wilk, the linesman. The Magicians get it back. It's Tice trying to shuffle this one ahead. It's in the breezers of somebody, and it's in the back of the pants of Casey Feld, so stop of the play. 14-18 to play in the third.
Yeah, the jitters that Minot High had on Tuesday night are gone. They're playing very well. Even on this penalty kill, they're out pinching. Firebirds haven't really even got it over the red line yet on this power play. So the Magicians, everything seems to be ticking right now.
Plemmel's the one-man aggressive here on the forecheck for the Magi. Now with some help there from Casey Feld. The puck comes back into the possession of the Magicians, and Feld, who takes a stroll back into his own territory, moves it back to Tice, and Tice just dumps it all the way back in behind Regan Ruley. Magi are at full strength. Bone breaks out of the box. Off the bench comes Nick Murphy. Murphy's back on the retrieve in his own territory. Murphy's going to carry the puck ahead forward, back up to center ice. Here's Murphy. Cross center. He had 11 points last year in his sophomore campaign, did Nick Murphy. One of the players that the Magi look forward to being a stud this year in the maroon and gold. Murphy's got it at the goal line. Near side wing, blocker side, down to 13:24 to play in the final frame. Murphy still working on it, being hounded by Devier. Devier's got it back with a backhand, sends it to the far side corner, left side of the radio dial. Back to Murphy in the circle, right side, trying to move it ahead forward. Center slot, a drive coming, still coming. It's loose in the center slot, and the puck goes away to the far wall. Pushed over there by the Firebirds, and now sent in from the line where the shot came in from Tice. Kind of sloppy here to start the third period. We're down to 12:55 to play. Minot High still up by 2 goals tonight from Stenberg and Morelli. If you're just joining us, those came early on in the contest tonight. First period goals for the Magi.
Reagan Ruley's beginning to wonder, what the heck, guys, let's go. As it was in his zone the whole power play, and still he's under heavy fire here.
Hunter Culp on the forecheck, down low, trying to move it away over to Hillman. Back up to the point. Tice has it tipped in front from Culp. It went wide. It's on the blocker side of the near wall. At the half boards, back up to Voller. Voller whistles in a wrister that sailed 2 feet up and wide of the glove side. That might have been generous. That was more like a 9-iron that hit the top of the glass.
Yeah, it was another Hulberg shank.
This one launched all the way down 200 feet. 12-10 to play in the third. Minot High up by 2 on the icing.
I give you a lot of crap in golf, but you beat me like the last 4 times we've played. So.
I love beating you.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
It's the highlight of my summer.
When you can defeat me in golf, you know you've done something right.
Well, when we played for that big trophy, and then I won it that day, and then we had the races that night, and I carried that trophy all the way up the steps and set them right in front of you in your announcing stand.
Yeah, how'd your title defense go on that? You just gave it away.
I was eating cheese curds at the state fair the night before. I wasn't in any condition to wake up at 7 a.m.
Well, that's you're not very proud of your title then. And now you've let Josh Walla run off with it. God knows where it's at now.
Here's Hunter Culp in his own defensive territory. Moved it across, back to Bone Break. A Bone Break trying to break out of his own end. Chips it up off the boards and moves it out to center. Into the offensive zone. It comes from the Magi. Chipped ahead forward, trying to reach Hillman. On the attempt from Hauser, unable to do so. The Firebirds push it right back up to center. We're off-route to the backhand. Connects it back to Bone Break. I got to tell you, I am amped up about 19 and 21 or 18 and 21 on the back end for the Magicians. A pair of these sophomore D-men back here that got the start tonight as the top pairing for the Magi Blue Liners. Sent in on Sortland, and Trey Sortland hangs on tight, and also amped up about this sophomore goaltender, Trey Sortland. That looks...
Yeah, he looks really good tonight. And
solid.
And Ben Bone Break, what a great kid. I mean, I see all these kids when they come to open hockey through the years, and it's just a real good group of kids this year.
Hertz moves it around to Stenberg. Stenberg out to center ice. Now it's Peyton Fillion into the offensive zone. Fillion walks in, fires. Oh, really flashes the leather He gobbles it up for save number 28 down the night. Magicians still up 2-0. 11:01 to play in the third.
Ruley was over to his left a little bit, almost daring him to shoot to the stick side, and Fillion put it right in the glove. Boy, I think that might have maybe went in if he would have sniped the stick side on that.
Fillion sends it in front, and Stenberg sailed it up and just wide. Stenberg out of the corner, trying to feed it back to the point. Thongfent was waiting for it up there. Stenberg's got it back, takes a stroll across the blue line. Stenberg moves it ahead forward, tipped in front, but it's taken away. And here comes Hunter Swanson out to center ice with it, moving it ahead forward. Zach Boren's in. Stick save from Sortlet, sent it down to the corner. Freed now by Morelli. Across it comes, up through neutral ice, far wall right in front of the benches. It's taken here by Kyler Stenberg. He walks it into the zone, drops it down to Fillion, and the playmaker for the Magi. Fillion's underneath the goal line where he moves it back. Murphy one-timer sent it in and a pad save from Ruley. Back out to center ice after the Firebirds cleared it up. Comes back into the possession here for Aiden Moser. Moser makes a nice move. Gets around Nick Murphy. Then he walks in, fires it in. Sortland gloves it and hangs tight to it. Save number 15 with 10:04 to play in the third.
Peyton Fillion had some wheels that time down there on that last attack. I wonder who he got those from. His dad, Tom Fillion, of course, one of the fastest thing on skates I've ever seen. And it looks like Peyton's got some of those genes here tonight.
Fillion had a great run on the football field for the Magicians, who didn't qualify for the West Region football playoffs for the first time. And way too long a drive comes in. The stop is made from Ruley. Bowler had a man lined up. That was Martinson. Missed the attempt on the hit, and the puck is cleared back into Magi territory. With the puck now, Firebirds have control, but it's Deal taking it away, and here comes Mason Deal to move it ahead forward. Look out, that one flipped up into the penalty box. And a stop in the play as Souvenir finds one of the off-ice officials. Anyway,
former coach Jersey Kelly, nice catch down the penalty box and flinged it right back to Stack.
Peyton Fillion ended the season in the running back position for the Magi and dominated on the back end. Minot High looking to have a better year next year on the gridiron.
By the way, Tom Fillion was a running back too. Did you know that?
I had heard.
Yeah, he was pretty fast.
Out to center ice, the Magi cross into the Firebird territory and work it down low where it's going to be taken here by Luck off to Cope. They got into Eric Steele, the referee, and the puck's now behind the net to the Firebirds, where it comes away to the near side bottom of the circle, back to the point. Bone break has it, sends it in, tipped in front with the high stick from Cope, but it's the Firebirds with possession. Then Hunter Cope lays the body on the far side wall. There's the hit of the week from Hunter Cope. Cope at center.
Another one.
Lays the body again, and now Bone break. The D-man carries it in. Back behind the goal line. Bone break. Behind Ruley, offensive zone, 8:49 to play here in the third. With the Magi up 2-0, they control the puck, and it is worked back out to center where Morelli's got it. Morelli moves it back to Bonebreak at his own blue line, up to Stenberg into the offensive zone, and Stenberg wheels and deals, far circle. Offensive territory up to Hertz. Has a clear look at the net. Turns, fires. Ruley made the stop as he went into the butterfly. It keeps it 2-0 Minot High as Hertz had the chance with 8:27 to play in the third.
It hits the pads and then it goes into his glove. Nice save there. Tommy Fillion's got to be 43 years old now, right around that. So I think in 20 more years, he's fast. But in 20 more years when he hits 63, I think I can finally take him. I'll be 80, he'll be 63, and then let's bring it on in a foot race.
I see Tom Fillion working out every day at lunch at the Y. He's still an animal.
Does he work out every day?
I mean, unbelievable.
So I've got some work to do.
The guy's a machine still at 43. You should see him.
I eat dinner at lunchtime.
Into the offensive zone for the Firebirds. They take it down in front of Sortland with the opportunity that was interrupted. Zach Bourne went coast to coast with it, but it was Hertz, with a nice play. Here's Stenberg out of his own defensive territory up to center. We're down to the final 7:49 to play here in the third period. Power play will come down for the Magi is off. Will go number 5. That will be Jeremiah Hill, and Eric Steele had the call. I didn't see it. It was behind the play on Stenberg.
9:14 the time of the penalty. And the Magicians on the power play again. And this is not doing the Firebirds any favors right now as Hill goes to the box. And yet another power play for the Magicians, who have one tally in the first period already here tonight.
Cross check was the call, and into the box will go number 5, Jeremiah Hill. Last year, on the 30th of November, Minot made the trip over to Devil's Lake to take on the Firebirds. In Devil's Lake, Minot won the game by a score of 3-1. Regan Ruley saw 32 shots in the contest. Jordan Love was the one that got the start. And if you remember, here's a drive coming in. Opportunity on the back doorstep from Plemmel. Works it back up to Deal. Jordan Love got the start, his first varsity start and goal for the Magi. They scored with 12 seconds remaining in the game to blow the shutout. 3-1, Minot still got the win. That was the final. Here's Mason Deal. Near side point to cross. One-timer to Nick Murphy. Didn't quite get it on the tee. Wanted it. Comes back up to Murphy at the point. Opperud. Right-handed shot with the CCM stick off the Deal. Bouncing puck in front. Save. Rebound from Ruley. Kicked out. Then it's fired all the way down by Riley
just
Rue.
Got robbed out front there.
Well, our star of the game was the Mandan goaltender on Tuesday night. Will that be the case again tonight? Regan Ruley definitely deserving of that so far in this contest. We're late in the game, 6:45 to play. He's seen 34 shots. He stopped 32 of them. Opportunity went just wide on his glove side. Minot High is up 2-0. 6:38 to play. Power play down to 50 seconds for the Maroon and Gold. Fillion back to the point, across to Hertz. Now Bonebreak has it, brings it back over to Hertz, top of the circle. Fires in, Ruley gloves it, and he'll hang on again.
This is such an important part of the game. This power play with 40 seconds left is so crucial because there's 6:26 left. The Magicians need a third goal, I feel, because if Devil's Lake does go down and get one, then you got a one-goal game in the late minutes, and that is probably not the most comfortable position for Minot sophomore goalie to be in. So, boy, this is such a crucial, I feel, power play here. 40 seconds left in it.
Well, Fillion's in on the draw, waiting for someone to take it as Swanson gets kicked out for Devil's Lake, waiting on a Firebird to take the draw. Fillion wins it, walks in, fires. Ruley made another stop. Puck's worked back up to the near side point at the line. Bone break, spin move, sent it across, comes to Hertz. Tipped on the way in. Ruley with the quick cat-like reflexes again, and he gobbles it up. Another face-off coming to his glove side.
Yeah, both goaltenders tonight have done a great job in controlling their rebounds. Ruley has done that, and so has Sortland. And, boy, that's all you can ask for out of your goaltender. Swallow up the initial shot. Don't let any rebounds out there.
Devil's Lake traditionally has somebody in between the pipes that's pretty solid back there. They've produced a handful of good goaltenders over time, including Holden Kurtz, who plays now for Minot State. The Beavers here in the Magic City.
Yeah, he was very outstanding.
I remember Brady Holman, who played for the Bismarck Bobcats back in 2004-2005. Holman, Mr. Hockey finalist. 5:45 to play in the third. Power play's over for the Magi as Morelli has it underneath the goal line and working out with it now. And setting up shop for the Magicians is Casey Feld. Back to Morelli. Up to the point. Tried to send it to Opperud. He lost a handle on it. Opperud met at the wall, and Opperud's railed from behind. Then Opperud hit again when he was on his knees. That's going to be a 5-minute major for checking from behind or boarding either way. Or does Andy Carton have it pegged as a charge? We're about to find out. Carton's coming over to talk to Eric Steele.
2 minutes.
Elbow.
And that penalty whistled at 11:34. Brent Johnston, 1997, the West Region Player of the Tournament, All West Region. He was the Player of the Tournament as they went on to state tournament in 1997. They were the West Region champions. Goaltending's always been solid.
Blair Martinson into the box. 2 minutes elbowing.
Well, here's another power play for the Magicians.
Nick Murphy off to Plettel. Center slot walks in. Fires, sent it up and wide. Plettel's got it back at the goal line. Wrap around. The attempt is there. The stop is made from Ruley. Trying to center it in front to Stemberg, but Ruli's got a glove on it. He's getting a workout tonight, a full one shot, number 35 with 5:03 to play in the third.
How often does one player get a chance to do two wraparounds on each side of the net? Plemmel tries to stuff it into the right of Ruli, and then he goes around and tries to do it on the left side.
In on the draw, it's Stemberg. In on the draw against 15. Devier wins it, but it's up to the point where it's held in here by Deal. Now it's fired to center ice by the Firebirds. Camden Schwab moved in ahead forward. Riley Opperud ahead forward down to Deal into the offensive zone. They bring it in. Deal's got it at the point. Works it across over to Opperud. The sophomore back to the senior Deal. Top of the circle. Shuffled down underneath the goal line. Back to Plemmel. This is the blocker side. Off the wall it comes to Deal. Far point to Opperud. He'll whistle it in. And the stop is made with 1:06 of the power play. Mounted High up 2-0. 4:32 to play in the third. I thought maybe the story you were going to tell tonight, the Best Devils Lake story, was about Brent Johnson.
Yes, he was involved in one of my second best stories of all time.
That one's up there.
Yeah, it is. It's a classic.
Maybe the
Bob Gillis at home laughing right now. But I didn't get a chance to tell that one. Maybe next time.
Maybe the cliff notes as Bonebreak takes it back out to center ice.
There is no cliff notes on this thing. You have to set the whole platter.
Out to center ice, Bonebreak trying to bring it. He does now. He crosses over center ice. 50 seconds of the Magi power play. We're under 5 to play in the third. Mounted High up by a pair. It's 2-0. Bonebreak down low. Sent it back to Philly and back to the point. Bonebreak across. Here's Hertz. Top of the circle. Sends. Whistles. All tipped in front. It went through the blue paint and then wide. Comes back up to Bonebreak at the line. Bonebreak walks in. Turns it towards the net. Hunter Cope spins it towards the goal. The stop is made by Ruli. Back at the point. Hertz again sends it in front. There's a scrum for it in front of the net. Hertz back over to Morelli, who works it back to the point. Hertz whistles in. Tipped in front. Oh! Caught it with the glove, did Ruli, and it bounced just wide of the goal line.
That's an oh my.
Puck comes all the way down on the right side of Sortland with 6 seconds remaining on the power play. I can't wait to talk to Jordan Willard tonight to see what his thoughts are in the coach's corner about the Magi power play. Boy, they've had some opportunities, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
3:17 to play here in the third. 2-0 Mounted High up late in the contest. Shots are 37-15 as they lead the Devils like Firebirds. And another one of the tally is a slap shot from Bowler from center is stopped and held by Ruli with 3:02 to play here in the third period. The clock is still running. It should be at 2. 3:02 will be the time that's going to be put back up on the clock.
Yes, 7 extra seconds was ticked off.
Should be up to 3:02.
Doesn't look like the officials are too concerned.
They'll just hold the clock for those 7 seconds. Yeah, that Brent Johnson story is fantastic. Here's Bowler, a drive from the line, loose in front of the net. Whistle blows from Andy Carton on save number 38 tonight from Ruli.
They didn't hold the clock either. They started it right away. So hopefully this game won't come down to the last 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Or be very controversial.
Face off on Ruli's blocker side. In on the draw for the Magi is Hauser. He wins the draw back, and it comes back to Hauser on the far side wall. 2-for-2 scrum for it. Hauser's going to be run into. That's going to be an interference call. The Magi go back to the power play with 2:38 to play, and the culprit here is Camden Schwab on the interference.
Boy, the Firebirds are just very undisciplined here in the third period. And that's definitely ruined any chances of at least looks like it's ruined any chances of a comeback. That penalty called at 14:22 of the third period here. If you're just joining us, there's 2:38 remaining in regulation. The Magicians holding a 2-0 lead. The face-off to the left of Devils Lake goalie Ruli.
Firebirds from Devils Lake seeing if they can't pot a shorty here as the Magicians and Plemmel have an opportunity in front. Plemmel sent it to Stemberg. He couldn't quite find the back of the net. Comes back up top, Root at the point, sends it over to the half wall, far side, Nick Murphy back up to deal. Rister comes in. Ruley saw it all the way, give him save number 40 on the night. He caught it with the glove, and the face-off coming on his blocker side.
Stenberg, a timeout, by the way, Firebird. Stenberg tried to create the screen there, but just didn't get close enough to the net to completely take away the vision of Ruley, and he saw that easily and made the glove save.
Kyler Stenberg and Aiden Morelli scored in the first period. Trey Sortland got the nod tonight. He's been perfect on the 15 shots he's seen. Regan Ruley's stopped 38 of 40. 2:18 left in the third period. 1:41 remaining on the power play for the Magi. There's the recap. How about the cliff notes of the Brett Johnson story?
No, there can't be cliff notes because you have to lay out the whole platter on that story. But you got to like being at the Pepsi rink. Minot High hockey, 2-0 lead. 2:18 remaining, and Detroit Rock City by Kiss is playing. Going to see him twice here on the end of the road tour.
I saw that.
I got tickets for the Target Center on the 4th of March, and just corralled them yesterday on the 12th of September in Denver.
Nice.
See him twice. I don't buy it, though, that they're done with their end of the road tour, because they still have to have the Barely Alive tour, I feel.
March and September, you should be able to see the Avalanche and the Wild play.
No, that's okay.
Too bad they weren't
playing in Montreal.
If I'm down there,
I want to go watch pro hockey.
You're gaining fans left and right. 2:18 to play in the third. It's crunch time. Firebirds use their timeout with fifth-year head coach Jed Stokey. Minot High in the power play for the next minute 35 as they control off the draw with Deal, who sends it down low back over to Plemmel. Plemmel makes a move in the corner with a big frame, works it back to the point. This is Deal up to Opperud. Far side wall, Opperud back to the near side. Deal takes his time and works it underneath into Gretzky's office for Plemmel. Sends it in front to Stenberg, back to Deal across. Here's Murphy. Now Opperud at the line, looking for the outlet. Sends it in with a whistler. Knocked down nicely with the glove of the D-man for the Firebirds there. That was Jeremiah Hill as the puck's tied up underneath the net. Nick Murphy's got it, walks out from the bottom of the circle. Far side, up to Opperud. Opperud turns, whistle, tipped in front. Went over the net and wide. Minute 30 to play in the third period. The Magi are up by 2. 50 seconds remains on the power play for the Magicians as Nick Murphy's in the near corner. Up to the half wall, drop back underneath the net. Plemmel's going to walk out, turns, fires, save, and Ruley hangs on again. And Regan Ruley putting in a clinic tonight in the extra pads for the Firebirds. What a night for Regan Ruley.
Plemmel got stuffed there on that close-in shot, and while you were looking down at your notes, Stenberg tried to wrap around and just got leveled. The Magicians, they're not giving up, but they are really frustrated that out of all these chances they've had down there, Ruley has just blanked them since the first period.
Well, Morelli's back out with Fillion and Hunter. Colt Bone breaks at the line with Hertz. Fillion's got it. Odd angle shot, walks in. It's stopped again by Ruley, who lost his stick. Down to a minute 10 to play. Minot High up by a pair, 2-0. Fillion far side corner. They fired another one on with the stickless Ruley out of the corner. It comes for Morelli. Hits the brakes, bottom of the circle, drop back down. Fillion trying to wrap around, back to Morelli, far point, up to Hertz, back to Morelli in the corner now. He's going to walk out bottom of the circle, sends it just wide on the blocker side. We're down to 45 seconds to play in the third period.
Really gets a stick.
Blair Martinson walked ahead forward and dumped it in. Devils Lake back to full strength, but here comes Hunter Cope. Hunter Cope walks into the offensive zone, lost the handle on the puck. Hertz got it back at the point, back up to Morelli, and now it's Hertz again with control of it here. Tried to send it to Hunter Cope. This one goes down, icing waved off, down to 20 seconds to play in the third. Cut them down, kids. We're on 18, 17, 16. Minot High trying to go 1-1 to start the year. Firebirds trying to see if they can't come from behind in this one. The Magi scored twice early in the first period. They haven't looked back since. Cut them down, 5, 4, 3. We're at 2. Trey Sortland gets the win tonight, his first ever start for the Magi, and that's how you do it. Doesn't give up a goal. And the Magicians fire 42 shots the way of Regan Ruley. He stops 40 of them. It's not enough as the Magi win 2-0 tonight. Let's go to the Pro Style Production postgame show as the Magicians get the victory on their home ice here at Pepsi Rink. 2-0 the final. Stenberg and Morelli have the goals for the Magi tonight. We're going to recap the whole thing. Ed talked to Jordan Willard, the assistant coach of the Magi, in the Pro Style Production postgame show. Magi win 2-0. We'll tell you how they did it next.
This broadcast on the Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knop. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
Pro Style Production.
Consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork in their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know, who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's time for the Pro Style Production DJ Services postgame show. Make your event Pro Style with the Pro Style Production DJ Services team. Visit ProStyleProduction.com and make your event Pro Style. Now, the Pro Style Production postgame show. Here's Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Well, it was a motley crew kind of a night tonight for the Magi. They got it done, peppering Regan Ruley, the goaltender for the Devils Lake Firebirds, with 42 shots. They found a way to pot 2 of them. That's all they needed tonight, as Trey Sortland turned in the 15-save shutout tonight in his first ever varsity start for the Magi. Minot High wins 2-0 at the end of 51 minutes in this East First West showdown. Minot High goes to 1-1 to start the year. Devils Lake falls to 2-1.
Yeah, great job by Sortland in the net. 10 saves in the first period, and then 2 in the second and 3 in the third for a game total of 15. And Ruley 11 in the first, 13 in the second, 16 in the third for 40 saves. The penalties really hurt the Firebirds in the third period, as they took 2 in the third to go with 3 in the first 2 periods for 5 minor penalties for 10 minutes. While Minot, only Cope and Bonebreak visited the sin bin. So the Magicians did a good job. You always want to stay out of the box. You always want to clear in front of the net, in front of your goalie, which I felt they did very well. And then they moved the puck around very well in the Devils Lake zone, especially on those power plays. And like you said, I like what you mentioned on the power play is hockey people are going to look at this tomorrow and go, boy, Minot High was only 1 for 5 on the power play. That's not very good. Yeah, but they weren't here and watched some of those saves that Ruley made on those power plays. I mean, the puck was moved around, cycled around the way it was supposed to be. The shot was wide open. It was taken. And then Ruley, all of a sudden, a leg pad or a glove would come in there or something. So the Minot High power play rate, a little bit deceiving tonight, I felt.
A lot of positives with that power play, for sure. I think the biggest thing that we saw is that they've got some guys that have some skill that can move that puck around and create those opportunities, something that maybe they lacked just a little bit last year, and maybe not the skill so much of last year that they lacked, but just the synergy and the chemistry that we saw tonight. A guy like Peyton Fillion, my goodness, how about him with the head on a swivel and setting up some of those plays? He's like the quarterback of that offense down there, Quinn Fuchs. Like Quinn used to run that power play back in the day, which was so powerful, having a guy down low that had eyes on the back of his head, basically. Nice to see their power play ticking tonight. I thought they did a lot of good things right in my mind. Overall, give them a scale 1 to 10 on an overall effort tonight for the Magicians altogether.
Yeah, I think at least an 8, I feel. And you never know what kind of group of kids you're going to get. But this group of kids they've got now, these guys were competitors in Pee-wees and Bantams. And these guys work and they grind and they live at the hockey rink, like Coach Grubb said at the start of the broadcast. And that's what it takes. Kids that love the game, they're just not playing hockey to go out and get a letter in the winter. They're playing hockey because they love hockey. And I'm not saying that the guys that played in the last couple years weren't, but this is good chemistry. I think they're very happy with the Bantams that have came up. You call them freshmen and sophomore. To me, they're Bantam players on their way up. And I think the coaching staff has got to be very happy, as you said, with that, of some guys that can bang a little bit. Bone Breaks, big boy. They're on the point, 6'3". I mean, they've got some kids that can, I think, that can do some damage. They were caught flat-footed on Tuesday night. I mean, this was a completely different team, don't
Agreed.
you think, than Tuesday night's game? It's night and day.
Not even the same. You're Jen Stokey for the Devils Lake Firebirds. What do you take away from tonight in your mind with Devils Lake? Any positives or real negatives that they need to work on heading into their next contest?
Well, the positive's your goalie. And other than that, I just really think that it would have been an even closer game if they would have stayed out of the box. Some of those penalties there in the third period, they still had a chance with 6 minutes left, down 2-0, to maybe come and do some attacking. And they spent 4 of those last 6 minutes in the penalty box. And I think that really hampered them. So I think the coach has to work on just making sure that the only penalties you take are smart penalties. That one penalty where the Firebird pulled down the Magician from behind almost, I was almost expecting a penalty shot. That's a good penalty. You want to take that. It's a scoring chance. But some of those frustration penalties they had in the third, they can't do that because Minot High is in the West. Minot High's got 2 teams that they got to worry about Mandan now, I guess. But Century and Bismarck High, maybe Dickinson. Devils Lake has got to play Red River twice, Grand Forks Central twice, Grafton twice. Fargo North, Fargo South twice. If Minot High would have that schedule, the whole season's different. So Devils Lake's got a tough road because of being in that East region, obviously. As we'll get to these scores that Bob Gillen has sent into me here, final scores, I can prove that it's going to be a tough road in the East. So I don't know when we're going to do that and go through those scores, but Devils Lake has got they've got to be on their toes every night with the competition that they have to play.
Well, they played tonight and they lost to Minot High. Final score was 2-0 if you're just joining us for the Post-Dial Production post-game show. Larry and I will come back. We'll look around the state of North Dakota. We'll talk to Jordan Willard, the assistant coach of the Magi. Then we'll have our Minot's finest Collision Center stars of the game. 2-0. The Magi win tonight at Pepsi Rink. This is Magicians Hockey.
The Post-Dial Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knop. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com.
I'm Steve Funningsland, consumer lender at First Western Bank and Trust and sports enthusiast. Employees at First Western know the importance of teamwork and their day-to-day banking duties to best serve the community. I know the Minot and surrounding area high school and college athletic teams know the importance of teamwork as well. We want to wish all local teams good luck in their athletic endeavors this year. Stay safe on the courts, on the fields, on the rinks, and in the gyms. We look forward to watching you succeed. With familiar faces you know who know you by name, First Western Bank and Trust, you can bank on us, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Watch out for flying pucks and the Zamboni. Let's go back to the press box with Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Pro Style Production DJ Services post-game show here tonight after a 2-0 win for the Magi over Devil's Lake.
See, I hate to interrupt, but that intro that you just used, when you said look out for flying pucks and Zambonis, you're not referring to
the incident?
The incident, are you?
I am.
Oh, my. Okay. Go on.
Jordan Willard joins us in the booth here tonight after Minot High gets a 2-0 win over a pretty all-right Devils Lake hockey team that had a strong goaltending performance tonight from Regan Ruley. First of all, a little bit more fun always having a conversation after a win like tonight. Man, your thoughts on this young hockey team? Kind of shook it off on Tuesday night and came out tonight and really showed that they've got a bright future and some firepower. A kid like Fillion was fantastic tonight. Back end was good tonight. Stenberg gets on the board. Overall, your thoughts on the way your team performed here tonight?
Well, like you said, first off, I think you got to give it up to the Ruley kid. I mean, he had, 32, 34 saves or shots on net. I mean,
38.
Well, I guess the board was a bit deceiving. I'll have to change my sheet. But, obviously he played really well and he, kept him in the game. But, I think the big thing for us is that senior and junior group got going, and that helps the sophomores to just kind of fly along on coattails. And, those kids worked extremely hard. You get those older kids going, the younger kids like, oh, this is how we play. Hunter Cope was unbelievable tonight. Hunter Cope was an absolute animal, flying around, running into everything. And, that's what we've asked him to do, and he likes to do it, keeps his mouth shut and just works extremely hard. We gave the hard hat to Gabriel Thongfet, second varsity game. I mean, made plays back there on defense that were just, it was extremely fun to watch. And, Trey Sortland in net, first varsity start, had a good, not a ton of work, but he took care of the work he needed to take care of. And I could go down the line, Nick. I mean, we discussed 6-7 players for the hard hat. Riley Opperud had a game. Like you said, Philly and Stenberg. I mean, that's what we expect out of those kids. But it's exciting to see the team grow from Tuesday to Thursday. Tuesday night, first game for 10 of those kids. A little first game jitters tonight. We just played hockey. It was super fun to watch.
Kind of took me back looking at the power play tonight. I a lot of times refer to the Quinn Fuchs era back in, the lead up to that 2015 state championship. But how powerful and how special they were with Jersey Kelly, Hayden Schwartz. You had Martell up at the point. But Fuchs was so good down low on that power play so often to create so many chances with eyes in the back of his head, like I said tonight. Having a guy like Fillion down low and a guy like Opperud up top, man, your power play was fun to watch tonight. Talk about those guys just a little bit with the man advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Larry, I think you rattled the set off to me. We were 1 for 5. Ruley's not net. We're maybe 2 for 5, 3 for 5, somewhere in there. I mean, the kid played, out of his mind. But I just, you got to throw, and Aiden Morelli is Quinn Fuchs, and we hope he will be Quinn Fuchs. I mean, he works extremely hard. He hounds pucks. He sees the ice extremely well. It makes Fillion better. Fillion makes him better, and then you sprinkle in some of those other guys, and pucks are all over the place, and pucks are going to the right place, and we're only 2 games in. Power play is probably not at the percentage you want it to be at, but again, got a good goalie tonight, obviously a little bit of an off night on Tuesday, so hopefully we can regroup here a little bit and be ready to go Thursday for Century.
Now, I'm going to always ask a goalie question, so here it comes. Odin Nelson's been the starter for 2 seasons. This is his 3rd year. He didn't have a real good performance last night, but the team basically was a little jittery. Everyone was. So you guys decide to go with the sophomore. Now, he's out there, and I told Nick at the start of the game, this kid's going to be a little nervous. So they need to keep the puck down in Devil's Lake's end, and when it does come down into the Minot end, they have to keep everyone off to the side. They have to clear rebounds right away and clean out in front of the net. I think that from what I said at the start of the game, I don't think that could have worked out any better. He made some big saves when it was 2-0 with about 9 minutes left. I mean, he made a couple of saves that were quality saves, but in the first period, he got so much help, just like what I was asking for, that as a coaching staff, you guys have to be really pleased at how your team help out a young guy like that, knowing that he might be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, Larry, I mean, Odin plays the first game. I thought Odin, if he doesn't make 5-6 of the saves that he does, that game might be 6-0, 4-0 probably early. I mean, I thought Odin played well. Trey had a little bit of the better team tonight. Odin had all those young kids in their first game. There was a lot of first game jitters. Kids were nervous. You could see it in the locker room. So we didn't take care of the puck as well. Tonight the team took care of the puck better, and it was just a good team win. But I love it from a coaching standpoint because you got 2 goalies that are capable of playing, and it just creates competition, and you got to love that. You want the kids to come out and compete. You want Odin was super happy for Trey tonight, and later on in the season, Trey's going to be happy for Odin. I mean, that's how it works. And then you throw in Jordan Love, who had a good game in the JV game tonight, a 20-some save shutout. Now you got 3 goalies that are competing, and that's what you want. You want, competition breeds winners. That's what happens. What's the old saying? Iron sharpens iron, or steel sharpens steel, or whatever it is, or rock sharpens rock. So, I mean, that's what you want. You want that competition, and, I think, both kids are, doing just fine.
And I'm glad you mentioned Jordan because he got a few starts last year, and you've got 3 real good goalies, and that's a good problem to have if you're a coach of a high school hockey team.
That's 3 more than when Larry played.
Oh, Cymbal Crash, please.
You
it up.
You got to be careful. He's got that headset on the rest of the year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Talking about competition, it doesn't get much easier from here. You see the top team, quote-unquote, in the West Region next. What do you do to prepare for Bismarck Century, and what major changes do you see that need to happen until then?
Well, tomorrow we have the ice. Going to have a little bit of fun with the fellas. It's kind of going to be a little, we're going to get out and just kind of have a little shinny game, get into the weekend. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week before we head down there. It's a good hockey team. You got that Brown kid back, probably arguably the best D-core in the state, with Bailey and it's Peyton Sleddy. I mean, it's some good hockey players over there, and we just played them a couple weeks ago in the Jamboree, and we saw them on the first leg of the Jamboree, and our kids were a little nervous, a little jittery, and we settled in and played better against High down there. But I just think we need to compete. We competed tonight, and we kept pucks down low. When the puck's down in our offensive zone, you might not score every shift, but guess what? It's not down in our zone and going towards our goalie. A lot easier to play defense that way, and we'll shore up a couple things. I thought the neutral zone was good tonight. I thought our D zone was okay. We get a little discombobulated at times, but again, there's a lot of young kids playing in different spots, and they're learning. And Bennett just said it in the locker room down there. You can't, win or lose the WDA title in December. Not that we're hoping to go down there and lose. I hope we go down there and blow them out of the water. No more than anybody else from Minot, but. We're going to take some lumps with the kids, but they work extremely hard, and that's the thing that's exciting.
Do you realize that you're talking to 2 goalies here? Don't use words like discombobulated. We don't even know what that means. So you have to dumb her down a little bit, Jordan, when you're up here with us.
Sure appreciate your time. Nice win tonight, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jordan.
Jordan Willard, assistant coach of the Magi. When we come back, Armando's Finest Collision Center stars of the game. The Magi win tonight 2-0 over Devils Lake. This is the Pro Style Production DJ Services post-game show. Minot High got a win in the win column.
The Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.
Throughout the areas we serve, First International Bank and Trust employees are actively involved in helping our customers and communities grow. This is Kevin Vigestad from First International Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Whether it's coaching a Little League team, leading through involvement with nonprofit organizations, or a proud Beaver booster, know that all of us at First International Bank and Trust are committed to giving back to the places where we live and work.
Hi, my name is Marshall Knopp. I'm the manager of the UPS store here in Minot. It's time to make sure your holiday gifts arrive on time and unbroken. It's why at the UPS store we offer our pack and ship guarantee. We can pack, ship, insure your item, and get it there on time. 100% guaranteed. If anything were to happen, you're covered, and so is your package. So ship away for the holiday. For the finest in packing and shipping, the UPS store. We're at 1940 South Broadway or online at theupsstore.com.
ProStyleProduction.com. They have a combined 1 win and goal for the Magi, but have some of the most legendary calls on the radio for the Magicians. Here's the voices of Magi hockey, Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall.
Pro Style Production DJ Services postgame show. Minot High wins tonight 2-0 over the Devils Lake Firebirds. Nick Hulberg and Larry McFall. Larry, why don't you take us around the state real quick before tonight's Minot's Finest Collision Center stars of the game after a 2-0 win tonight for the Magi.
Okay, once again, thanks to Bob Gillen for these results. And he's staying up late. Usually he goes to bed about 8 o'clock, so thanks for staying up, Bob. Mayville defeated Red Lake Falls 6-5, and Mayville coming from the ranks of Junior Gold and gets a win over, I believe Red Lake Falls is in Minnesota. If it's in North Dakota, it's been a secret for me for 60 years. God, you know, when you flip your phone, you want to see it, cuts it off, and you try to hold. My phone is really freaking out on me here, Nick. Okay, we'll see if I can do it this way. Fargo Davies defeated Fargo South Shanley tonight 6-1. Grand Forks Red River with an 8-0 win over West Fargo Cheyenne, and Grand Forks Central with a 9-0 win over Fargo North. So Grand Forks Central must have put the arena's cleaning crew and Zamboni guys in to play the third period to keep that one just 9-0 when it started out 8 right away. Either that or they had their 9th line in the game. And those are the only finals I've got here right now. Bismarck High JV is playing Hazen, and Mayville Portland, Red Lake Falls. We said that one. And the only other score we don't have is Dickinson and Mandan, which might have maybe turned out to be a good game down there in Mandan if you think about how they finished last year and how Mandan looked the other night.
Yeah, Mandan predicted to be number 6 in the West. Dickinson tied in the rankings with Minot to start the year at the number 3 spot. We'll be interested to read the Bismarck Tribune and maybe the Minot Daily tomorrow to see if we can get a score on that one down south here tonight. Minot got goals tonight from Kyler Stenberg. They also had one from Aiden Morelli, his second of the year. Trey Sortland gets the shutout tonight in his varsity debut to upend Devils Lake tonight. Final score is 2-0. And with that, you know what time it is?
Player of the game. The Planet Pizza player of the game.
Minot's Finest Collision Center.
Oh, excuse me. Well, that's why I'm not in the marketing department.
It's time for the Minot's Finest Collision Center Stars of the Game. Minot's Finest Collision Center. We are Minot's Finest.
Yeah, if you're driving back to Devil's Lake, thank you for stopping in on 1390 KRRZ AM and at ProStyleProduction.com for the Minot's Finest Collision Center Stars of the Game. They truly are Minot's Finest. Corey Almy and his staff at Minot's Finest Collision Center are the real deal. If you have an issue with the vehicle, you need collision work done, it is Minot's Finest that truly are the finest. 3 stars of the game tonight. Well, we've got a tough decision on our hands. There's plenty of players that are definitely in the conversation and deserving. You heard Jordan Willard say it for the Magi. They ended up going with Gabe Thongfet, the gentleman that was on the back end tonight. He got the Hard Hat Award for the Magi, meaning he was the hardest working player on the ice for the Magicians tonight. He mentioned Riley Obrut on the back end as well. Kid like Morelli gets on the score sheet tonight. Anytime you score a goal in a varsity matchup at a 2-0 tilt, you have to definitely have a honorable mention in the hat. But it's Kyler Stenberg for me that's going to be the number 3 star of the game tonight. He got the game-winning goal. He got on the board first tonight. Number 2 star of the game, we talked about it up here, Larry, and I guess we can have a debate about it if you'd like. Trey Sortland gets his first varsity start tonight as a Magician goaltender. He pitches the shutout, but man, the kid at the other end of the ice, Regan Ruley, saw 42 shots on goal. He stopped 40 of them, or was it 40 and 38? He saw
40
42.
saves out of 42.
And he was fantastic tonight. I'm going to go with Regan Ruley as my number 2 star of the game tonight.
Yeah, he was just outstanding. This game would have been blown wide open if it wasn't for him. And that's what Devil's Lake has to cling to, like I said, in this East region. They have to have a game like that from him all the time and just hope their offense can produce a little more, obviously, and stay out of the penalty box at crucial times. But, honorable mention to Sortland. I mean, sophomore goalie, first start, 15 saves, shutout victory. But, yeah, Ruley's got to be the number 2 star tonight.
Unanimous decision up here that Peyton Fillian's our number 1 star of the game. 2 assists in the hockey game, and he, in my mind, was Minot High's best player tonight. I thought he worked the puck very well. He's just a hard-working kid, and that skill is really starting to shine a little bit. He's starting to polish the game a little bit, and Peyton Fillian gets 2 assists for his hard work tonight. He's just, like I said, eyes on the back of the head. You all right with Fillian being the number 1 star?
And you could have picked any one of those guys that we've mentioned, but I just think the 2 assists and assisting on the game winner there by Stenberg, obviously the first goal was the game winner at the 3:05 mark, but Fillian was directing that power play so well, and in behind the goal line, keeping it going. There was lots of times where Plemmel was trying to stuff him in. I mean, there was a lot of players that were working hard with that work cap on behind the Devil's Lake net, but it just seemed like Fillian really started becoming a playmaker tonight, a little more than we saw the other night, and a little more than we saw last year. So good effort by Mr. Fillian, and congratulations for the number 1 star.
Those are the Minot's Finest Collision Center stars of the game. Minot's Finest Collision Center, we are Minot's Finest. Larry, closing thoughts tonight after the Magi pick up their first win of the 2018-2019 campaign. They beat Devil's Lake 3-1 in the second game of the year last year in Devil's Lake. Tonight it's a 2-goal margin again, this time 2-0 on home ice. Your final thoughts on it?
It was nice to come up with a win after Tuesday nights. No one was happy with the results of Tuesday night, obviously, or some of the work ethic. So to get a big win at home before they go now and go down for, I believe, 2 crucial games on the road. I missed the production meeting again today.
We're at Century on the 6th, that Bismarck Century, 7:15 start from the VFW Sports Center.
So that's a couple of Tuesdays from now?
It's next Thursday.
It's next Thursday, okay. Yeah, boy, get ready for that one. That's last year it was the Irie show, I believe, from what I can remember. He is no longer around. He's running up in Canada. So, and Isaiah Thomas. over and over and over again, Isaiah Thomas. So it'll be interesting to see how Minot High does against Century this time around.
Yeah, they've got a really good player, Nick Brown. He's a big power forward that can find the back of the net, and they got a goaltender with the last name Schmidt that's been there in the starting position now. This is his third year as a senior that is going to be starting a goal, you'd have to guess. Next Thursday night, Planet Pizza pregame show will come to you at 7 o'clock on Thursday night from the VFW Sports Center in Bismarck. For Mr. Larry McFall joining us tonight, we sure appreciate his time as always. Fantastic job on the mic again tonight, Mr. McFall. We want to thank John Grubb for stopping by. We'd also like to thank Jordan Willard for his time, as always, up here in the booth. If you joined us from Devil's Lake tonight, we sure appreciate you for checking in to the West Region matchup. You joined us on the Minot High side tonight, wherever you listen to us, whether it was on 1390 KRRZ or anywhere across the web at ProStyleProduction.com. We sure appreciate you for stopping in to listen to a Magi win. They win tonight. Stenberg, Emerelli got the goals. They improved to 1-1. We'll see you next Thursday. Good night, and God bless.
Pro Style Production Broadcast Network is brought to you by the UPS Store, First International Bank, Planet Pizza, Granite Springs Water, Homesteaders, Vibeto Orthodontics, Minot's Finest Collision Center, Premier Chiropractic, Ralph's Plumbing and Heating, First Western Bank, Buffalo Wild Wings, Duffy's Hockey and Sports, the Minot Hockey Boosters, Bremer Bank, Qdoba Mexican Grill, Souris Valley Dental, and ProStyleProduction.com.